Hello, hello, hello. What's up this afternoon, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to you all. Good to see ya. What is up, Noel Furflowers, King Beef, the Tone Fergie, Thoneblood, Dogamith, Mr. Peaches? Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup here for you. Thank you. Aracalypse, welcome you as well. Big scoops here for you. 56 and 43 months. Cobra Enjoyer, how you doing today? For Atwar, yo to you. Funky Mo, how is everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone is having a spectacular week. Yeah, they got me. I made the mistake. Okay, so I wanted to build this doubling season deck, right? And I was like, I'm going to build this doubling season deck. I kind of want the cat doubling season because it's just kind of unique. So I actually bought the card styles in the store. I forgot that Wizards absolutely hoses you on these. And then I had to spend 4 Mythic Wild cards to get Foundations doubling season, even though I already had a playset of doubling seasons just to use the card style. So they got me. They got me. LBZ, Dylan Hunter, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup here for you. Thank you. To the McButt Nickel, how is everyone doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. Lucid, wow, the hype trade is a run in 55 months. Oh, sorry for missing last week's stream. Also, if there's any coughing or anything, I apologize. I'm doing much better. I'm doing much better than I was last week. Oh my god, I was so out of it. Much better, but still, like, if I laugh, it's one of those, it's like a bad YouTube video. You know those, like, if you laugh, you lose YouTube videos? It's kind of that, but instead of losing, you just cough a lot. If I laugh, I cough. So I gotta avoid laughing. But if I avoid laughing, I do all right. Is my mic volume low? Interesting. Yes. I can turn up my mic volume. Hang on. Check. How's that? Am I blowing you out now? Is that too loud? Hello. Any plans to play with Doubling Season Super Friends in Standard? Use elf cards like a Johnny, Sleeper Agent, Liliana, Dreadhorde General, Urza Planeswalker. Also, when is the draft stream? So, I don't know when we're doing a draft stream, but it's funny you mention that because I actually built a multiple, too loud now. I'll reel it back in a little bit. I'll reel it back in just a tiny bit, just a little off the top. Yeah, I actually built multiple doubling season decks. One of those actually playing a lot of those cards. I don't know how good it is. I haven't got to play it yet, but maybe we'll give it a try. Maybe we'll give it a try today. So anyway, let's do our reminders real quick. Replay YouTube, that's where you can find all the old streams, including this one of the future. Normal YouTube, tons of stuff coming out on there. Lots of Foundation, so check it out on there. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. If you get a free goldfish sticker, just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. Also, we have new merch. Ooh, wait. MTG Goldfish merch, where is this? We have these cute little dice now. If you want some cute goldfish dice, you can get them over in the merch store, so check them out over there. But anyway, Mother Frogger, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big tip, Jeffrey. Thank you. How's everyone doing today? So today, we're going to be doing some Foundations thing. I think the plan, so here's the plan. We're going to start with some Genesis Wave and see if Genesis Wave can work in 2024 standards. So that's number one. Number two, I just came across this deck, and it's so funny. I know it's Dimir, but it's really funny Dimir. So I kind of want to try it. This is an Arcanis the Omnipotent Agatha Soul Cauldron deck. You can probably see why I like the idea of this deck. So the idea is we loot away Arcanis, we exile to Agatha Soul Cauldron, and now all of our creatures that we put counters on tap to draw 3 cards. Tap to draw 3. Plus, it's an Abyssal Harvester deck. And Abyssal Harvester is one of my favorite Foundations cards. So we might do some Arcanising after we do some Genesis waving. So that's Arcanis the Impotent, yes. Oh no, you made me laugh. See, I lose. If I laugh, I lose. If I laugh, I caught. Oh man, sorry. I apologize. See, that's what you get for making me laugh. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Before we get into the games though, I gotta tell all this quick story. So I was at oh my goodness, you got me good. So I was at Magic on Vegas not long ago, and while I was there, I got to meet up with one of the mods from our stream, Dog of Myth, and he gave me this card, and I thought it was pretty cool, right? It's a Bugler Rat. You know Bugler Rat, obviously. One of the memes here on the channel. It's a signed Bugler Rat. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it's even better than that. This is a very special Bugler Rat. This is a This is a artist-proof Bugler Rat, and apparently, when Dog went to get the artist to sign it, when he went to get her to sign it, the artist, who is Tyler Wadepool, actually knew the joke. So there's this super sweet Tyler Wadepool Saffron Olive MTG Goldfish on the back of the Bugler Rat. So yeah, this is now one of my favorite cards. So thank you, Dog, for a super awesome gift. I don't know if I'd put it in a deck. I would feel bad playing it in a deck, but certainly one of my favorite new cards in the collection. The Dolphins are better than the Bill. What? The Dolphins? The Dolphins! So thank you so much, Dog. That was a very nice gift. A nice piece of cardboard. So let's talk. Yeah, I don't really know Tyler Wadepool? Walpole. What about playing with Progenitus? I haven't even gotten to Progenitus yet. We could just Genesis Wave into it. I was listening to the LR set review and I was like, what's a burglar rat? You see, I know, you know the real name. That means you're in the know. So what is the idea of this deck? This is our Genesis Wave deck. What is Genesis Wave? It's a card that lets us put a lot of permanents into play. Many permanents, 3 and X. To reveal the top X cards of our library, we can put any number of permanents cards with mana value X or less among them on the battlefield. The rest go into our graveyard. So if you look at our deck, it's almost all permanents. We do have ill-timed explosion, so we have a little bit of defense. So we have a sweeper in the deck. But the goal is, in the early game, we ramp with Anime Llanowar Elves, in Clifftop Lookout, in Splunking, in Solemn Simulacrum, eventually Virtue of Strength, Overlord of the Hallwood. So we ramp and ramp and ramp. We ramp into our Genesis Wave. How do we win with Genesis Wave? So our hope is, if we cast a huge Genesis Wave, that we win the game right away, thanks to Enduring Courage, which, when a creature enters, is going to give it +2/+0 in haste. So we put all of our random Solemns and Clifftop Lookouts into play, haste them up, smash our opponent, or Terror of the Peaks, which just deals damage whenever a creature enters the battlefield. So that's a play into the deck. Ramp a lot, Genesis Wave, into Enduring Courages, and Terror of the Peaks. The big payoff is definitely Virtue of Strength. So we're not all basic lands, but we have a lot of basics in our deck, and we're good at tutoring them up, thanks to, like, Solemn Simulacrum. So if we can get down Virtue to triple our basic mana, we can cast a absolutely ridiculously massive Genesis Wave. So that's the deck. Sideboard, a bunch more removals, some counters, some graveyard, pretty typical stuff. So let's see if Genesis Wave is actually good enough for 2024 standard. Turns out every Enduring Glimmer is pretty good. They really are. It's a very solid cycle. I think what is the worst of the Enduring cycle? Yoda Man, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super, thank you. I like having Solomon Standard. Like, by far my favorite part of Foundations, and I like a lot about Foundations, but my favorite part of Foundations is definitely just these nostalgic reprint. Like, having Solemn, what's the Explorer? Oh, Thornblood. All right. Remind me after this match, and I will show you. It's a Metalwork Colossus deck. It's pretty jank. I'm still working on it, but I will. If you remind me, unfortunately, in Arena, I can't jump over to the deck list from the game screen. If you remind me after this game, I will show it to you. What cards are you most happy about returning to Standard in First for Pioneer? I mean, I'm really excited about, like, the janky Brewer routes. Like, they're not the most competitive cards, but, that's awkward. Well, I mean, I guess we're keeping the Terror of the Peaks. We don't really want to mill one of our 2 Terror of the Peaks. I'm most excited about, like, 1,000-Year Storm, Maze's End, Demonic Pact. Those kind of cards, I think, are some of the sweetest, at least for me, some of the cards I'm most excited about. My favorite sets are core sets. Like, core set 2020, my all-time favorite set. Foundations makes me nostalgic. I know the only thing that actually is making me sad is this set's supposed to last forever. I almost wish, actually, I think I do wish, that rather than doing, we're going to make this Foundation set and make it legal forever, I kind of wish they just brought back core sets. Because now I'm thinking, there's a lot of old cards that I would like to be reprinted into Standard, but there's not going to be another core set maybe ever or for a very long time. So yeah, that part's a little bit disappointing. I want more of it because the set's so cool, but otherwise the set's really sweet. Jeremy Cho, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. 2-year resub, big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Also, Wizards, I think they did a good job. I don't know if you saw, Mara was asked about Tron lands in Foundations, And they said they didn't do it, but they actually discussed it. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, that might have made me quit Standard. Tron in Standard forever. Dodged a bullet on that one. Definitely dodged a bullet on that one. Well, let's get down this Terror of the Peaks. At least it's a blocker, and it does not get hovered. Yeah, that's kind of what I wish they would just, like, bring, like, yeah, do it every 3 years or something. Now we're on this, like, 3-year rotation cycle. Maybe you do a Foundations every 3 years. Do it 3 years. That'll be the foundation of that format for 3 years. And then in 3 years, make a new Foundations. You can still reprint, like, if there's some cards you just always want to exist, Duress, Negate, whatever, you can just put it in the Foundations too again. But I would love to see just a steady stream, because there's so many of those cards that have either, because of Commander, have never existed in Standard, or haven't existed in Standard in a really long time. Wait, this hovers... Oh, it's... Oh, that's better than I thought. It's toughness 5 or less. I was, for some reason, thinking it was mana value 4 or less. I guess that's a Skyclave apparition, so it does get hovered. What do we do now? We don't have a Genesis Wave. We're kind of dying. They have a lot of flying. Well, I mean, I guess we'll Solemn. Opponent's kind of cheating by just playing creatures. They're just playing all these 1-drops, which I don't think our deck can beat. Let's grab a... Doesn't really matter. We already have the Everywhere land. Well, all right. Play the land. Pass the turn. Why not a reach blocker? I mean, so Solemn blocks the Novice Inspector. I guess we could potentially save 1 more damage by playing the Clifftop Lookout. Solemn's more mana. It's just a more mana efficient play, but I ain't see an argument for playing Clifftop Lookout. I don't think it... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it... So what I imagine happens is they crack the map on the Spyglass anyway, and then Clifftop Lookout's not a very good blocker for any of the flyers, but we'll see. We'll see. Hey, what's up, Mega Magikarp? How are you? Infinite mill. Wait, how do you infinitely mill with Hovership? So when it enters, exile up to 1 target creature, toughness 5 or less. When it leaves, manifest dread. So what do you got to blink it infinite times and then you infinitely mill yourself? About it. Getting in. We will take the 3. We need a Genesis Wave. We need a Genesis Wave. We could also, a sweeper. A sweeper would be sweet. Ill-timed explosion. We're taking ill-timed explosion. Next week is my wife's and Edgar's birthday, so we're doing Dragon decks all week. Some are budget, some are absolutely not budget. Ooh, that sounds sweet, Doug. Hey, Seth, do you think you could use a modern deck using Tainted Revenue and Veto to drain the life with cards like Congregate and others alike? So, I've messed around with decks like that before. It is a deck you can build. Tainted Remedy, I don't know how many of you were here for it. I don't know how many of you were here for Tainted Remedy against the odds. I believe it's the worst against the odds of all time. I'm pretty confident that after, wow, we're closing in on, I don't even know, 500 episodes or something. Pretty sure it's the worst one of all time. It's challenging. It's challenging to actually make it work, but yes, you could build a deck like that. It's one of those decks that I think it would be better off in like Standard or Pioneer. Modern is just so busted. Oh, we put a Genesis Wave and an Ill-Timed Explosion to the bottom. Not great, not great. We kind of wanted those. Hedge Maze. Anime Llanowar to the graveyard. I have a mono-white vehicle blink deck with Abdul Adrian and Far Traveler. It's already infinite blink combos. Oh, that's hilarious, Mega Magikarp. I like it. I'm surprised Fabled Passage wasn't included. Doesn't that seem like a very foundation-y land? The one I'm most excited for is Ganax and Agent of the Iron Throne. Dragons and treasures and effects that hurt our opponent when artifacts die. That does sound super. I don't think I've ever seen a Ganax commander deck. That sounds super cool. Oh yeah, it was when it was in Standard. It was a long time ago. Oh, it's a long story. It's a long story of why that deck was so bad. But basically, if you haven't heard the story before, the story is at that time with Against the Odds. Wow, copying our Overlord with Fly. Okay, we have one turn to draw something, I think. Genesis Wave to come through in the clutch for the win. I wish this silly Solemn would die. Opponent, are they a blue-white flyer deck? They have a lot of flying. Opponent gets in. We're going to take it. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Genesis Wave. Oh, my God. We've drawn so many lands. So many lands, so few. I mean, that is one of the problems with Genesis Wave, right? Like, there's only one of them. So we do all this work to be able to win with Genesis Wave. And then if we don't draw Genesis Wave, we're kind of just playing a bunch of random dorks and getting beaten down by flying Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Yeah, Prismatic. I would rather see Prismatic Vesta than Fabled Passage. Maybe they consider it too good for Standard. Oh, well, if they hit the frog, we're literally dead. And opponent hits the frog, and, well, no Genesis Waving that game. Fabled Passage was my first rare open. I felt so disappointed. It's so funny. When you're a new player and you open a rare land, it feels so bad. Thornblood, we gotta wait till after the match finishes and then remind me. But good job with the reminding. But I still can't switch to it. Arena, unfortunately, on Moto, you can switch back and forth. For some reason on Arena, you cannot go to the deck builder when you're in a game. Well, we can bring in a little bit more removal. Like, ooh, Paw Patch. Paw Patch seems really good. They're all flyers anyway. So I guess we just trim some ramp. Like, go down a couple of Solemns. Maybe a Virtue. Virtue leads to the best Genesis Waves, but it is very slow against our opponent's deck. And then maybe one Splunking. Let's try something like that. Sheltered by Ghosts, is it the best aura ever in Standard? It actually might be. Don't quote me on that, because I haven't thought about it super hard, but it actually might be. So, the Tainted Remedy story. So, that's back when Against the Odds, the way it worked is there was a poll each week, and people would vote for what card they wanted to see. And the rules were, if you got in second place on the poll, you would get to carry over to the next week's poll. So if you didn't win but got in second, the winning, whatever card won was the deck for the week. Whatever got second was on the next poll along with new options. Tainted Remedy was on the poll and came in second place for like 2 months in a row. Like 2 months in a row. And by the time it finally won, it just kept getting second every single time. Second place, second place, second place. By the time that it finally won, rotation had happened and all of the synergies for Tainted Remedy were gone. So it left us building, I think I built a deck where the only way to trigger it was I needed to cast like instants and sorceries that would give creatures lifelink, but try to target our opponent's creatures with them as they were attacking with them to try to make them gain life to lose life with Tainted. It was so bad. I don't even think it came close to really working. It was literally one of the worst decks that I think I've ever built, but we just kind of got wrecked by rotation on that one. Ranker, yeah, Ranker's really good. I don't know, Sheltered by Ghosts is really strong though. Yeah, if you're a new player and you open a rare land in your pack, it feels so bad. But then it's so funny because it switches. Eventually, as you get to play more Magic and you learn how important good mana is, eventually those are the cards that you're hoping to open. That's what you're rooting to open most, I think. Like, if I open a pack, in almost every set, I would take the rare land. Well, that's the thing I want to open the most. Ethereal Armor is another... Okay. What is the all-time best aura in Standard? That is actually a good question, and I do not know the answer. What is the answer? Ethereal Armor is very strong. I mean, what's the... Oh, God. I'm actually curious. What is the greatest? Google is not super helpful. I'm pretty confident it's not Aqueous Form. What's the greatest aura of all time in MTG? Aqueous Form. Oh no, I'm laughing. See, it happened again. I can't laugh. I can't laugh. If I laugh, I cough. Oh, Animate Dead. Okay. Oh, Twin. Twin. That is actually a good call. I forgot about Twin. Twin was a thing in Standard. But that's more of a combo piece than a true aura. We're getting beaten down brutally. We can kill the enchantment with the paw patch. Now let's play this. Play the Carapucin Forest, and then... Do you think they're playing counters? Are they playing counters? Can we kill this during their turn so the thing doesn't have haste? All right, we're gonna risk it. We're gonna risk it. We need more mana. We need what? Genesis Wave for 4? That is a sad Genesis Wave. Ooh, Berumbra is a good one. Berumbra's a good one. Hey, what's up, Reindeering? Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Was there just a Netflix show about you? I'm pretty sure. Bonnet. Oh my god, so chat, I gotta ask you. How many of you fell for the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing? Oh god. How many of you actually fell for it? How many of you watched it? Well, let's see if we can kill this Glimph and not die immediately. Alright, so the map becomes a map. Opponent gets to discover a Dusk Rose Reliquary, which can kill our Llanowar Elves. The girl, yeah, the championship, like, female fight was actually very good. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't really care about boxing. It just was sad. It just made me feel bad. I know, like, it was this old, like, Mike Tyson who could barely stand up just getting absolutely pummeled by someone half of his age, which is exactly what I knew it would be, right? I think everyone should have, like, Mike Tyson 60. Like, isn't that obviously how this was going to go? Like, I think that was just obviously what was going to happen. Are we just dead? Or do we just Genesis Wave and die? Genesis Wave for 4? Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing against Mike Tyson. Like, what do they say? Father Time is undefeated or whatever? Oh, I mean, that's the reason he did it. I think he made 20 mil, something like that. I gotta say, I'm not like a big Jake Paul fan or anything. Oh, we can only go X3? Oh, that's... All right, well, I guess we just play an Overlord then and see what happens. I think we just die. Oh, good Temple of Llanowar Elves. Oh, my God. Oh, Arena. We kind of wanted that for blocking purposes. Can this exile any? Yeah, we're actually just dead. All right, sure. I mean, I think I'm not really like a Jake Paul fan, but I gotta say, I think the plan of spending like 5 or 10 years of your life making the whole world hate you with your YouTube channel, and then becoming a boxer so people will pay money to watch in hopes that you get beat up is actually, as far as marketing goes, it's kind of brilliant actually. What an interesting long con. What is the next against odds? Next against odds is tomorrow, and it is, I don't know if I can spoil it. Okay, I'll give you a hint. It is a standard version, which is very, very different than the original. It is a standard version of a deck that I believe it was played on Budget Magic and Modern way back in like the first year of Budget Magic. So we're talking the earliest days of Budget Magic. So this is I love this deck. I'm so excited for this deck. It's one of my favorite things to do in Magic. I don't know, maybe you can figure it out. You might be able to figure it out. Otherwise, tomorrow, it's coming soon. Well, let's do a little frogging here. Clifftop Lookout into a Fabled Passage. No, not AWAG. Can you explain to me what makes Thran Portal good? Oh, Thran Portal's not good. The only reason I see to play Thran Portal, oh, it's an Angels deck. Angels. Well, okay, let's crack it. Oh, we're going to do some good ramping here. We're going to do some good ramping. The question's going to be, do we find a Genesis Wave before we die? So, land and land, Overlord of the Hauntwoods and Creature. But look at this ramp. Llanowar. This is turn 3 Overlord of the Hauntwoods past the turd. Can you beat our Overlord? Thran Portal is just not a good card. The two reasons I would say to play this card. One would be Domain, and even then we've seen it's not actually good enough for top tier Domain. But if you're playing some janky Domain deck, it's fine, I guess. The real reason is it's a gate. So if you're trying to Maze's End win, I think it's actually legitimately worth it in Maze's End, just because there's only 11 gates in Standard, and you really want all of them. So Maze's End will be coming. Don't worry. So we might be seeing some Thran Portal in the near future. Oh, Thran Temporal Gateway. I know what you mean. Yeah, Thran Temporal Gateway has got me before. That's for sure. Just putting massive things into play. Well, all right. Overlord of Hauntwoods, get in there. Make another land. And I guess we do a little splunking. Okay, put a Fabled Passage into play. Crack it. Is there a way we can, like... Is there a way we can guarantee we find our Genesis Wave? Is there a good tutor, chat? Is there a good tutor that we can make sure we find Genesis Wave? Because we're doing a good job ramping. We just are not finding Genesis Waves at the moment. Hey, Seth, I tried my hand at making an Aristocrat stack. Can you tell me what you think would be good in the sideboard? Ooh, I've built a couple Aristocrat stacks. I haven't got a chance to really play that much yet. I've been working on other things, but I am really excited for Race the Past Aristocrats. Opponent gonna get in, hit us. Down to 16. Another forest. Don't go to combat. Attack. Block the Solemn. Thank you, opponent. We want that to die to draw our Genesis Wave. Genesis Wave? Yes, please. Oh, God. Oh, no. We're gonna ramp like every basic out of our... Are we out of basics? Have we ramped them all? Yeah, we have. All right, every single basic is out of our deck. Well, for this deck, though, preferably in our colors. Is there anything we should be playing in our colors to increase our odds of finding Genesis Wave? Well, at least Clifftop puts non-basics into play. Well, attack. Make another everywhere land. Opponent's gonna block. Drops to 2. Eventually, they're gonna have to start blocking this Overlord. Ooh. All right. Let's I don't even think we want a Wrath, do we? Well, let's ill-timed Explosion. See what we find. Oh, wait. We will pay the 3. We will pay that 3, opponent. We will pay that 3. We'll pay 3 more. We'll pay the 6. No problem today. All right. We don't want to Wrath you anyway, really. Play the Ridgeline. Well, this is going to be the boring win. This is going to be the... we just play a bunch of Overlords and win. Analyze the Pollen is creature land, I believe. Besiege is good, but it's in black. Do I remember the first rare I ever opened? Oh no. I don't know if I do. I remember the first, my intro to Magic was playing casually with a collection that one of my friends had. So my early days of Magic, I wasn't really cracking packs. Like, that wasn't my intro. My intro was a roommate in college having this collection of cards and like building decks out of it and playing it against him and other friends. So that was kind of like, that's what I remember as my first days of Magic. So my memory is more not what I opened, but the first thing I built a deck around. And the first card I built a deck around, it was so bad. It was a Eon Storm deck. In Eon Storm, it's so janky and slow. 3-mana enchantment. Pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter or a charge counter from a permanent you control, and it deals 2 damage to any creature or player. So I was playing, I wonder if I should someday do, what is it, Arcbound Overseer? Is that the big one? Yeah. It was a Arcbound Overseer deck, and I was trying to, like, just play all these things that put counters on things, modular and charge counters, and then try to Eon Storm. It was so bad. But I will always have a special place in my heart for Eon Storm, even though it is objectively just a very bad card. It's objectively a bad card, but I will always remember it fondly just because of that. Can you do a commander clash where first to finish the dungeon wins? Ooh, wait. How many dungeons? All of them? First to finish all? Is that enough of a challenge? Is that too easy? That might be too easy. What would be a good... I like the idea. The question is, how many dungeons do you need to actually complete to win? And I'm not sure what the answer is. First to finish every dungeon wins. Ooh, Quicksilver. I remember that card. That was Scars of Mirrodin, right? That was a clone, but it's 1,000,000 mana, and it's really big. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. I wonder if there could be a way to do it with, like, attractions or contraptions. First to... I don't even know what that would be. Get all of the attractions on the battlefield wins. Bonnet Youthful Valkyrie. Well, let's crack this for some blue mana. We got Genesis. We have not cast a Genesis wave yet, which is disappointing. That was kind of the whole point of this. And so far, our waves have not Genesised. All right, play the land past the turn. Okay, let me ask you this one, chat. Let's say the challenge was drawing cards to win. What number would you put on it? First to draw X cards wins in Commander. What number would you choose? What's the proper number for that? That's going to be like challenging but possible. I think that's an interesting one. 69 seems easy. Trisket Echophobia. Ooh. We could definitely do more with alt win cons, probably. Did you see, speaking of alt win cons, did you see the new Secret Lair commander deck they're putting out? This one actually looks, oh, we need to land there. This one actually looks pretty sweet. They're doing a Secret Lair alt win con Ghost Shintai of Life's Origins commander deck, which I think is going to be really cool. I remember playing against someone from Wizards with a Ghost Shintai alt win con deck like a year ago to Magic Con. So I'm curious if this ends up being very similar to that deck. Oh wait, so if we bounce this. Okay, so we can bounce this. Oh, they're going to counter it. How do we do this? How do we do this properly? So we stop on our opponent's upkeep. Let's play the Vine Stock. Yeah, let's stop on our opponent's upkeep. We need to bounce the Aaron of Giada. If they're going to counter, we need them to do it now, because then we can Wrath during our turn. So hopefully bounce it. Get rid of the Sheltered by Ghosts. Okay, land. Get back our Splunking. Draw a land, please. Northern Vanguard, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you. Boy, where's our lands? Thank you so much for your subscription. Big tip for you. Thank you. Hello, Seth. I built a Rakdos. You draw, you die deck with Shieldred Razor King. Can't remember the name, but the 3-drop, the upkeep. Ooh. Yes, what is the name of that card? I know what you mean, the 3-mana artifact. What's your email? I'd love to send a deck list. I tried a couple days ago, but I think it's the wrong email. Seth or Saffron Olive at mtggoldfish.com is the email. I would love to see the list because that looks super sweet. So yeah, new Secret Lair commander deck coming, which should be interesting. Well, let's play an Overlord. Make an everywhere land. Play a Llanowar Elves. And I guess we just pass the turn. Opponent's gonna flash their stuff in. The weird part, and I want your opinion on this. They're doing like spoiler season for this for this secret lair commander precon deck, which apparently means spoilers of cards that don't even have new art. They're just like reprints, along with some of the cards I assume will have new art. I feel like that spoiler season gone too. I love spoiler season more than most people. We do entire videos on spoiler season. I think spoiler season for a secret lair commander precon is probably a bit much. I don't know if that's actually necessary. Well, this is unfortunate because we can't get around. Yeah, we got to do it. We just gonna do it. We can't get around our opponent having no more lives. We were hoping to hit some lands. I don't know why. We've only got 4 lands out of 16 cards, but if our opponent has a counter here, we're in very sad shape. Wow, they still no lands. My God. We'll discard you, and I guess discard Splunking. Where's our lands? Funga Monkey Beats. Welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for your subscription. Big super duper, thank you, opponent. Queer Fox Bodyguard. The Shenanigans gets back there, Aaron and Giada. We're gonna play a land where elves. And pass turn. Oh, sweet. Opponent hits us down to 15. Or, I wish, 5. If you could rule 0 Vorthos and build a deck around your favorite MTG character, what would be a fun commander idea? Oh, speaking of commander, I have a commander problem I need your help with, chat. I need your help. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So do we just max a Genesis wave for 4? It's a very sad Genesis wave. Well, I mean, I guess we do it. Like, what else are we doing with our lives? Boom. Let's do it. The very tiny Genesis wave. Not even a good Genesis wave. Genesis wave for 4 is very sad, but hopefully we put some lands. So anyway, working on a field to the dead comp. We're not talking about that Genesis wave anymore. We're not talking about that. I swear Genesis wave's a really cool card. It's a super cool card. It was even worse than I expected. I already knew 4 is like, so if we get to 5, at least we get any permanents. Kind of unlucky that we hit, like, our deck is almost all permanents. Hitting 2 of our spells and the 2 5s is the worst. Well, oh, do we want the Scorching Shots? Can we find room for the Scorching Shots? Maybe the Scorching Shot's better than Into the Flood Maw. At least it kills things forever. You know, let's go on Enduring Courage for a Scorching Shot. Try it like that. Oh, so here's my question for you, chat. Here's the question. Working on a Field of the Dead Jank combo with Rebuild the City and Surge to Victory. Hang on, let me look up Surge to Victory. I don't even know. What is Surge to Victory? Surge to Victory. Exile instant sorcery card from a graveyard. Creatures you control get +X plus 0 to X a turn where X is mana value. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, copy that. Okay, that's actually super funny. So you can make a bunch of lands and then play this on it and cast it more to make a bunch more lands with Field of the Dead. That's actually a hilarious idea. I like it. That sounds like a very fun way to build an against odds deck. Stand looks good. That looks good. And we got the Genesis wave. Okay, well, we'll keep this. So here's my question for you, chat. What spell do you associate the most with me? So by spell, I mean instant or sorcery. So you can't say Blood Moon. You can't say Panharmonicon. You can't say, whatever, Sphinx's Tutelage. Those are all off limits because they don't count as spells in this context, even though I know technically, they're spells in the grand scheme of things. Mana Tithe. Okay, let me add another. Let me add one other little bit of information to this puzzle. Okay, let me say I might have to build a commander deck around this card. So let's say, what's a spell that you associate with me that you could theoretically build a commander deck around. As your commander. Like, imagine this spell was the commander of my commander deck. Doppelgang would be pretty good. Doppelgang's actually a good one. I mean, Mana Tithe would be hilarious, but I think as a commander, it would actually be miserable because everyone can see it, so they'll just play around it all the time. Panharmonicon was my first thought, but it's not a spell. It has to be an instant or sorcery. Writhing Torment. Come on now, Stringback. Come on now. Mods, get them out of here. Get them out of here. I'm just kidding. Ooh, what about the Wheel of what's the one where I spent all my life on it for no reason? Wheel of Misfortune. Maybe Wheel of Misfortune. That could be fun. Let's grab a Forest. Opponent didn't seem to have a counter last turn. Let's see. Overlord of the Hall. Oh, they have a counter now? Boo. Oh no, they don't. Okay. We're getting closer to a good Genesis wave. We're getting closer. No attacks because you're going to flash in your Aaron and Giada past the turn. There's Aaron and Giada. Doppelgangs is a good one. Might be able to get away with Virtue of Knowledge based on the adventure mode. Maybe. Yeah, see, the problem with Doppelgang is that is very Philly. I imagine Phil would do that. So I think the challenge I see with it is it needs to be something that you can kind of like build around a little bit. Like Villainous Wealth is a great one. Or Genesis Wave. That's like perfect. Because I think you could just play like, I don't know, some silly like Swords to Plowshares or something. Or Mana Drain. Like that would be probably powerful, right? Like if you just had Mana Drain in your command zone and could cast it multiple times, that'd be kind of insane. But I don't think that would lead to a very entertaining deck. Villainous Wealth I like. That's actually a good one. March of the Multitudes. Okay, let's spin it around. What would you play? Let's say you had to build a commander deck, but your commander had to be a spell, instant or sorcery rather than a commander. What would your go-to be? What would your first choice be? Oh, Genesis Ultimatum. That's a good one. See, Swords is just kind of boring to me. As far as like as a commander it'd be boring. Or like a Wrath. Yes, like a Wrath would be very powerful, but I think it's just kind of dull. 1, 2, 3, 1. So we can go X5 now. Hopefully, maybe Frogtrod can slow down this Aaron Giada. What about Garth? Garth is a cool... Ooh, Primal Surge. Primal Surge. I actually like that idea. Outrageous Robbery is super cool. That could be a good one. Yeah, it has to be an instant or sorcery. Specifically instant or sorcery. Oh, Death Clip. Pox. How about Pox? Smallpox? Oh, could you imagine just guaranteed turn 2 Smallpox? That sounds like the world I want to live in. Opponent passes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we can go X6? We can go X6. Our opponent can't counter. If we, you know what, we're gonna go mini. We're gonna go mini. X6 is not that many. Let's go X6 Genesis Wave for the first one. Okay, that's better than the last one. So we mill a couple spells. We get 3 lands. We get a Solemn. We grab another land. We cast an Ill-Timed Explosion. We're not going to discard. And we will pass the turn. Okay, now we need the second Genesis Wave. We need one more Genesis Wave, and that's when it becomes very good. Opponent Giada and a Youthful Valkyrie. And opponent beats down, hits us. Down to 14. Oh, there's our Enduring Courage. Enduring Courage. And play our Frog Friend. Trigger. Get a land. Crack the map on the Solemn. Crack the map on the Frog. Oh, Overlord. Do we want to know? Well, Hasty Overlord's kind of good. All right, we'll keep the Overlord. Play the land. Go to combat. Attack, attack. And into the Flood Maw. Bounce the Valkyrie. All right, hit you. Only 5, but we get in for a little bit. We know we have the Overlord coming. All right, pass the turn. Ooh, Guthrie White's history. That actually, Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral would be very powerful. Ooh, Commandeer. I wish I could play Strip Mine as my commander. That would be the best. Well, and now I guess we gotta bounce this Giada to keep this Youthful Valkyrie from being massive. All right, opponent. And a Resplendent Angel. All right, the beatdowns commence. We really need, though. We really need Genesis Wave. We need a Genesis Wave. Can we find a Genesis Wave before we die? Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Don't tap the creature land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Haste it up. Go to combat. Smack ya, smack ya. Get another land. Genesis Wave, Genesis Wave, Genesis Wave. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Wait, is Hydroid Crossus in standard now? Did they put Crossus in standard? Oh! 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, it would be even better next turn. But then they can counter it. Do we do it? Do we do it? Crossus would be so good in this deck. Do we just go now? 8, 9, 10, 11. So we go X10. We already milled 1 Terror of the Peak. You know what? I think we go. I think we go for 10. It's too risky to get it countered next turn. So Genesis Wave for 10. Oh, there it is. Terror, Land of War, land, creature land. Here comes all the anime elves. Land. Oh, yes. Yes, we will take those 8 permanents. Yes, we will get a few triggers. So snipe you for 1. Snipe you for 1. Snipe you for 1. And, oh, we could have done that differently. Snipe you for 2. Crack the Fabled Passage. Thin the deck. Get a Forest. Okay, lots of haze for not much value. Oh, wait! Oh, I'm so dumb! I'm so incredibly dumb. Wow. Okay. That's fine. We're still good. I forgot that the buff from Enduring Courage would be applied. Okay, we still win. We win despite my best efforts to not. All right, tear the peaks to the face. Genesis Wave! Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the Enduring Courage buff increasing the damage. I was just going with what Arena put on the screen. Okay, that was pretty good. Look at the difference. Look at the difference in these board states. Our opponent has 4 lands. We have our deck in play, basically. I think we did pretty good. I almost punted it. Do you have a permanent ETB return card or sorcery card in hand in Teamer colors? That's something we're kind of missing. Because so in older formats where you get Eternal Witness, I would play Eternal Witness, and Eternal Witness in the fact so easy, because you cast the big Genesis Wave, you get the Eternal Witness, get back the Genesis Wave along with more lands, maybe the Virtue of Strength. The problem is there's no... It needs to be a creature, or at least a permanent. Something that we can Genesis Wave into. And then it needs to return a spell to hand, not a permanent. And I'm not sure. So there's Shipwreck Dowser. Technically does it for 5 mana. We could play one of those. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I think if we go Shipwreck Dowser, then we also want more Virtues of Strength. I guess Stormchaser's Talent could do it too. Is that better? Is that better than Shipwreck Dowser? So Shipwreck Dowser is just going to do it right away off Genesis Chamber. The battle only gets permanents, I believe. Yeah, return 3 target permanent cards, so it can't get back our Genesis Wave. Anything that can give it flashback. That is a good question. When it enters, target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn where flash. Oh, okay. So this would let us do it twice. I'll show you that. Yeah, I'll show you the deck list before you leave. This would let us do it twice. Is there anything else we want to add to the deck? Is there anything else? Hey, welcome, Mana Frank. How are you? Good to see you. Is there anything else we should be adding before we play another game with it? Any ideas? Invasion of Arcavos. Oh. This card's horrible, but it's perfect for this deck. You were right. Okay, I actually like that. Because then we can put a Genesis Wave in our sideboard. And we should always be able to find one. Okay, so I like that. I like that a lot. So we're going to go down the trink. Okay, now the question is, if we're going to be tutoring spells from our sideboard, we should probably change the sideboard. We definitely need another island. We can go up an island, go down maybe a Carpusan Forest. It's horrible, so of course we're going to... Actually, it's just expensive, but it actually seems good for what this deck's trying to do, which is find Genesis Wave more consistently. Okay, what other instants or sorceries... Isn't River's Rebuke back in Standard? I'm pretty sure. Are there any other spells that we want? Haha. All right, we can take a River's Rebuke. That'll show them for trying to play things. That's what you get for trying to play permanents. This town ain't big enough. How many invasions can we fit? I would like to play more than one. So when it enters, search your library graveyard. Oh, that actually solves all the problems. That's actually kind of genius. So this is also our Eternal Witness, right? When it enters, search your graveyard for an instant or sorcery, put it in your hand. So this also fills the Eternal Witness. I don't remember who suggested this first, but very good call. Very good call, whoever suggested Invasion of Arcavos. I kind of want to play more of them. How do we play more of them? How many lands are we playing? 26. I don't think we can cut lands. What's our worst cards? I kind of want to play 3 of these. See, this is how I always end up playing Yarion decks in Pioneer. Well, all right. So we're at 62. I don't want to cut anything. Rather than cutting 2 cards, how do I add 18? That'll also solve my problem. Sphinx of Forgotten Lore is sweet, but it needs to attack. It is a cool card, though. Solemn, the card draw, though. The card draw is essential. We need to ramp even more now that we have this invasion. So what we want to do is Genesis Wave into Virtue of Strength, Invasion of Arcavos. And then we can Genesis Wave our deck into play. Oh, but Virtue lets us do our whole deck. It lets us do our whole deck, though. And doing Genesis Waving your whole deck is just such a good feeling. You know, we can probably cut one of them, maybe. We can cut one of them. We can go 3. But that's our only main deck removal? That might be too greedy. That might actually be too... So this is instants or sorceries. So we can't get our Virtue of Strength. Do you ever think they'll make new companions or reprint at least some of the old ones in Standard? So I want to just say no and no, but on a long enough timeline, I think Wizards will do everything. So I don't know, 100 years from now, if Magic's still going and the world still exists, probably. But I think in the realistic terms, I think it is very unlikely. I think companions are widely considered to be one of the biggest mistakes they ever made, or at least in recent times of Magic. How many Marvel sets do you believe there will be? Lots. I mean, they've said, several might be their wording, something like that. I would not be surprised if we get a Marvel set a year for the next 5 years. Like that, and maybe some years we get 2 Marvel sets, but with them focusing on this 5-year period for Foundations, that makes me think they have like a 5-year plan, and that they have these deals set up with other companies that are going to be coming into play over the next 5 years. So I would not be surprised if over the next 5 years we get at least a set a year. Yeah, Final Fantasy full set's actually the first one. It's even getting a Pro Tour. We're going to have Pro Tour Final Fantasy. Oh, speaking of stuff you can help me with, chat. So I had an idea for a video that I think would be really funny, which is something like the saltiest moments in Pro Magic, or saltiest moments in Magic's history. The problem is, I'm having a hard time thinking of these moments. Can you think of any like iconic salt? The closest I can think of was like the Goifgate thing with the, I don't know if you remember who was it? Pascal Mignard, I think, like rare drafted a foil Tarmogoyf when it was like $500 in the top 8 of a Pro Tour. And then people flipped out on him. Ooh, Chandra could be interesting. All right, here's the deck. It's pretty janky, but here's the Leyline Axe. So basically the idea is Leyline Axe starts in play for free. So if we can have 3 Leyline Axes, which would be miraculous, we just get to play Metalwork Colossus for free on turn 1, which is hilarious. Even if that doesn't work, we can play a bunch of Fabrication Foundries, Swiftfoot Boots, blah, blah, blah. These artifacts that just add non-creature artifact mana value to the battlefield. So essentially trying to get Metalwork Colossus down. And then we load it up with Swiftfoot Boots for haste, give it flying with Gilded Pinions, trample and lifelink with Shadowsphere, and just smash our opponent. If we have Brass Knuckles for double strike, Metalwork Colossus one-shot kill. And then the backup plan is just to make a bunch of constructs. Like if we don't find Metalwork Colossus, our Leyline Axe still triggers Simulacrum Synthesizer or whatever. Brass Knuckles triggers it. So it's missing Sanctum of Ugin. So this is a deck, I don't know if we'll see it in the near future. I want to do it for like a budget Magic, but I'm hoping that Sanctum of Ugin shows up in Pioneer Masters in December. Yeah, oh, does the F6 count? I can hardly think of... Yeah, that could work. Planeswalker Point Farming. There's definitely examples of pros getting mad that someone doesn't concede to them, which is the wildest. I've never understood that attitude. I've never understood how someone can get upset about that. Pure Seal's not on Arena, sadly. Oh god, here comes the discard. Well, I guess sorry, Overlord. Ooh, all right, Llanowar Elves. That's something. Maybe turn 2 Splunking. That'd be sweet. Pioneer Masters will not be legal in Standard. Pioneer Masters is going to be all reprints, legal for Explorer or Pioneer. Ruthless Negotiations. Well, all right. We'll get rid of Solemn. Solemn down. Tiny Bones has been very good in discard. I am legit scared of Tiny Bones now, because Tiny Bones, it's so good in a deck like our opponents. Don't kill a Llanowar. We just want to Splunk. Seriously, opponent. Seriously. Sure. Well, it might be challenging to Genesis Wave through 40 discard spells. That might be an issue. We might be running into a problem here, opponent. Demo field. Liliana. Mm-hmm.
This is my home.
And going to take it down to get rid of the Llanowar Elves.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
So do we want the Overlord or do we want the Enduring Courage? So we're going to play the land. We're going to lose the other thing to the Lily. Yeah, let's just Overlord. Get down the Overlord, make a land. This turns out our creature lands faster, although our opponent does have the demo field. Tiny Bones, yeah, the other one I was thinking is we can definitely do Kaido Tribal now. We can also do Kellen Tribal, but I don't know if I can bring myself. I don't know if I can bring myself to do that. Ooh. Oh, Oh, Liliana's so brutal. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just have to try to attack the Lily. See if our opponent jumps or not. All right, opponent lets it go.
This isn't how things were supposed to
Pretty
go.
sure they're about to steal our Terror of the Peaks, though. Unholy Annex. Okay, some card draw. Opponent gets and hits us. We draw. Genesis Wave. Not time for that yet. But it is time for a Terror of the Peaks. Risky Terror of the Peaks. Hold, opponent. Another demo field. Yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup for us to do our thing. Would Callan Tribal actually be fun to watch? Would you want to see that? The deck's going to... Ooh. The deck's going to be super janky, but... All right, Invasion of Arcavos. Search our sideboard for... I mean, I guess it's got to be the River's Rebuke, and then we hope we hit a land. I don't even know if we survive this long, but we'll see, opponent. Swamp. Deep Cavern Bat. Boo. Boo. What do you think the unannounced universe... Yeah, it feels like a nightmare. What do you think the unannounced universes beyond is? I have no idea. So I would say this. It's got to be something that they were working on for a while. Because we know that Magic sets take at least a couple of years typically to make. A year and a half, 2.5 years, somewhere in that range. So we know that they've been working on it for a couple of years. I think that Universes Beyond sets take even longer. They have to, right? Because you have to get approval from these other companies. You have to run your cards by them potentially to make sure they're okay, get all these extra approvals, so get the contract signed. So I imagine that it's a set that they've been working on for at least 3 years since the beginning of it, maybe more than that. So what's something that theoretically they could be working on for the past 3 years, and then they could be done enough with, they can move it up. Wizards designers have mentioned UB sets were 3 years. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of what I guessed it had to be anyway. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Oh my god. Please not Barbie. Please not Barbie. No, not that. Anything but that. Those are the ones I'm scared of. Those are the ones that I think they would have done Harry Potter, at least to see your lair drop with Strixhaven, if it wasn't for non-magic issues or whatever. Like I imagine that Harry Potter is probably off the table at this point. I think that there would be way too much backlash for Wizards to do that. I think it's too big of a PR issue, even though it would probably sell. It would probably sell because it's like an iconic IP or whatever, but Paw Patrol. How about Simpsons? I mean, Game of Thrones is an easy one. It's probably... So what are other games it could be? I don't think they can do a crossover with like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! That seems tough. I don't know if they can do a crossover with those. Elder Scrolls. Okay, like, yeah, what are other Witcher... Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls seems realistic. Mario. Oh, Mario. I like Mario quite a bit. I mean, I grew up playing, Nintendo at friends' houses and stuff. Like, I love Mario, but I don't know if I'd want a Mario Magic set. There's a lot of IPs like that. I run into that with The Simpsons, too. Like, Simpsons, really great show. I love it. Do I want a Magic set of The Simpsons? I don't think so. Even though I like the characters and stuff, I just don't know if I want them meshed together in that way. Well, I guess we play the Llanowar Elves to its demise. Yeah, I could see something. Mega Man? Elder Scrolls. I could see something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. How's everyone feeling about the next year of Magic now that things have settled down a little bit? Hype, scared, somewhere in between. Well, I guess ill-timed explosion. Huh. All right. Discard a Terror of the Peaks and a Garbusen Forest. Actually, yeah, we have to. Yeah, this is rough. This is rough. Well, kill the Slasher for now. What's up, Epic Trolls? Good to see you. Good to see you. Where's the idea ever to make Universes Beyond standard legal? That may be true. That may be true. However, what do we get with this? Search our sideboard. Is it just Reverse Rebuke again? I didn't even get it. Yeah, all right. I mean, I guess we gotta take it. I don't even know if it's very good, but I guess it's what we gotta do to not die, maybe. Too many sets a year. I'm going back and forth between... they always got the bat. Going back and forth between... Ooh, Elden Rings is another realistic option. I go back and forth between being very excited, because I think Big Standard could actually be very fun. I actually think that Standard with more sets in it might lead to a really fun format. But I'm also worried that people are going to just get overwhelmed, and that's going to be the problem. Man, and they'd slash or dodges. Yeah, this might just be a bad matchup for what we're trying to do. So we kill the Slasher temporarily. It comes back like always. Archfiend of the Draw's ticking down, but not taking down fast enough. Ooh, Mortal Kombat. Smash Bros? How about a Smash Bros opponent? Hopeless Nightmare. You and your discard spells. You and your discard spells, Tricky. Yeah, sure. Opponent hates fun. Doesn't even have Tiny Bones. If you're gonna make me discard my hand, at least play Tiny Bones, because it's cool. Come on, opponent. Come on, opponent. Very disappointed in you, Tricky. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Is there a secret lair that would make you quit Magic? I don't know. It's hard for me to see anything making me quit Magic. I don't think a secret lair. I don't think it's possible there's a secret lair that would make me quit Magic. I think Wizards could print literally my least favorite thing or the worst thing, and I don't think that would rise to quitting Magic. The thing that scares me and where it becomes like I don't know what I would do in this scenario, and I talked about this before, but with Universes Beyond coming standard sets, I do have a fear in the back of my mind, and I hope Wizards wouldn't do this, but I just don't have trust in Wizards to not do the crazy thing. But I do have the fear that they could do like, I always go to Dora the Explorer as an example, but something that's just very like childish and not really interesting. Something that it would be, I don't know if they could print a set of something that would make me like embarrassed to play with the cards. Yeah, the like super over the top anime stuff would be another one. Like the extreme sexualization. Like I don't really have a fear of Wizards doing that. I think Wizards stays pretty far away from that line or tries to. So I'd be surprised if that was an actual issue. But yeah, something like that where it's just like, when I think about it, I'm like, so this is going to be the set for like 2 or 3 months. Can I really spend 2 or 3 months of my life making YouTube videos that are, I won with Dora the Explorer in Standard? Like, do I want to do that? Could I do that? So that would be my fear. That's the thing I'm afraid of, is I think the ones that they've announced are going to be fine, and I think they might even be a positive of bringing in new players, but I do worry that they could somehow end up down a path where they do something that's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And and if you love Dora the Explorer, that's perfectly fine. It's to each their own thing. But so, like if that's your favorite show or whatever, that's awesome. But it's not my favorite show. At least Explorer's a good mechanic. And I think I think the other thing that's going to happen is maybe it'll put more pressure on the game being good, if that makes sense. Like, that's unfortunate. like, if the game's good, I'm willing to forgive a lot. A lot. If the game is fun and the formats are good and I'm enjoying playing it and, like, it's just the strategy game at its best, I can put up with a lot of other stuff is not going to be a deal breaker for me. If the game sucks, though, and the formats aren't good and they're not fun to play, and then you start adding in this other stuff where I'm kind of like on it, that I could see that being an issue. Yubi should only be skins like Godzilla or commander decks like Fallout. I mean, it looked like that was the direction they were heading for a while. I imagine what happened, and here's, I think it's actually super duper simple, but I think what happened is, I think when Wizards said, we're not putting these cards into standard, I think that was actually their plan at the time. I think their plan was to not put those cards into standard. So I think that was actually... It ended up being a lie, but I think they were telling truth at the time. We could play Heaped Harvest in the deck. It's a card that just ended up getting cut. Like, I think it ranks behind Overlord in our deck, and it ranks behind Splunking, and I like the Frog. Maybe it's better than the Frog. I could see an argument, at least, that it could be better than the Frog. Overlords, eh? Well, opponent. I will see your Overlord. And match you with one of my... Actually, do we Overlord? Or do we play Terror of the Peaks? I really just want to ramp into the Genesis wave, but Terror of the Peaks says, yeah, all right, we're just gonna keep ramping. Let's keep ramping. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Overlord of the Haunt Woods. Actually, do we have to play the Terror? Yeah, let's just play the Overlord. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Get the land. Pass the turn. Yeah, I mean, maybe Heaped Harvest is better than Frog. Frog's also a chump blocker, which is nice. I do like the blocking aspect. I'm going to ask Krim which anime he thinks. Yeah, Krim would know better than I do. I know so little about anime. I saw that one, though. I think it's, oh, what was it? Death Book? Death Notebook? Death. Yeah, something to do with notebooks and death. It was actually I actually kind of enjoyed it. It made me think I could probably end up getting into anime. Death Note. There we go. That sounds way better. Death Note. The Death Notebook. It was actually pretty good. The first season, at least, was actually pretty good. I think it went off the rails eventually. Do we block? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, I think we take it. I think we're getting to we're gonna Genesis wave. We want to be able to Genesis wave for at least 5, right? Because if we Genesis wave for at least 5, we can hit the Invasion of Arcavos to get back the Genesis wave and do it again. And I think this lets us do it 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can go back 6. So get in with the Overlord. Make an everywhere land. We know our opponent has this Liliana coming, which is a concern. That is a concern. But is it better than a Genesis wave? Maybe Terror of the Peaks is better than the Enduring Creature, because we've been Genesis waving post-combat quite a bit. And then the haste doesn't do anything. Well, all right, Genesis wave for 6. Magic Gods. Be good. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Not bad. We will accept. We didn't find another Genesis wave, but we get a bunch of bodies. We get to play another Splunking. Yes. Ill-timed explosion. Okay. Not the worst. Well, we will pass the turn. We got blockers now. My favorite anime series of all time was called Irresponsible Captain Taylor. Very funny, charming, and heartwarming. Interesting. I'll have to look it up. I feel like animes, because I like animated shows a lot. They're some of my favorite shows. I just never got into Japanese animated shows. I feel like anime is one of those things where it might be for the best that I never got into it. I think anime and Warhammer. I'm pretty sure if I ever got into Warhammer, you would not see me for like 6 months. Yeah, I think Spy X Family, I'm pretty sure Krim was trying to sell me on that, or maybe Tomer, someone Someone when we were in Vegas was trying to sell me on that. Do you like anime art, though? Eh. For me, like, the art's whatever. Like, I can deal with a lot of... It's kind of like magic. I can deal with a lot as far as art styles, as long as like, the story is good and I'm enjoying it. Like, home movies is one of my... I don't know how many of you have watched home movies. I would definitely recommend. That's one of my favorite, like... sleeper animated shows, maybe, like animated shows that not as many people know. Home movies is so good, and if you watch like the first season of that, the art style is actually straight up annoying. Like, for some reason everything wiggles and like it's just always shifting, and it's like they did it specifically to annoy you. But all that to say, I put up a lot with art style, so I don't have any special like affinity for an anime art style. Like, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me, but it also is not like a deal breaker or problem for me. Well, that's a ill-timed explosion. Okay, not what we were looking for. We want a Genesis wave, but we have a splunking. Opponent doesn't currently have reach, do they? Fabled Passage. I don't even know if we have basics left, but Fabled Passage. Land. Crack it in the... We need one more Genesis wave. One more Genesis wave, and things become very sweet. Well, here are the Peaks. Haste it up. And you kill Lily. Face and face. Trigger, trigger. Have you seen Super Jail? I have. Super Jail is kind of medium on. It was fine, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it that much. It was like mid-tier. I've watched a lot of Adult Swim shows. Most of the C-Lab. C-Lab. Speaking of classic Adult Swim, home movies might be my favorite, but C-Lab, I will always love Captain Murphy. Every once in a while, I still put on C-Lab. I'll look it up. The old school Adult Swim, a lot of it was really good. I haven't watched it recently. I don't know what's on Adult Swim now. Is there anything good on Adult Swim? So Rick and Morty was really good. Rick and Morty went down pretty quick. Some of them are just absurd. Some of them are just straight up absurd. Bob's Burgers is on Adult Swim. What is this, like, precursor Rick and Morty? I don't even know what Brush World is. Futurama. Oh, the new Futurama is so bad. Did you watch My Adventures with Superman? I don't think... No, what is My Adventures with Superman? Hey, Seth, I need a little help. Trying to get back into Standard with this Grixis Descend deck, but I feel like it's missing something, and I just don't know what. Any suggestions? If you've got some, would be helpful. I have a junk version, and it's also one that I'm currently working on. Let me pull up the deck list. So, Grixis Descend. Opponent. Ooh. That's so much mana. So we can get back the Overlord. Man, do we want... All right, here's the age-old question. Why are all these cards in exile? What did they do? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, it's Conduit of Worlds cards. I see. So here's the question. Do we get... Yeah, we're going to do it. Do we get back the Overlord, even though this means our opponent might die? See, I don't really want our opponent to die. I want a Genesis wave our deck into play, and then they can die. Dying is fine. But first you need to experience the Genesis waving. But unfortunately, I think this means our opponent might just die now. They're dying too quick on us. Opponent, live a little. You gotta live a little. You're dying before we can. Hey, that was Xaxes. That's a shame. That's a shame. That's a shame. Do you remember the old MTV cartoons like Eon Flux? Ooh, I don't think I've ever watched Eon Flux. I remember Celebrity Deathmatch. Was that? It might have been. That was MTV, right? Yeah, I've never really watched many. I've never been into superhero shows, which is why like the Marvel stuff I'm kind of on. All right, Grixis Descend. So what is the idea of this deck? I like the Kiora. Kiora has proven to be one of the best modern cards from Foundation so far. Ancient one, FOMO. Interesting. So what is the overall goal of this deck? That is the question. So why are we Descend? So Descend grows a Satellite Stalker. Eventually turns the Ancient One into a creature. Bin your end step if you descended. Each opponent can discard a card or sack a permanent. If not, they take 3. So this descends, this descends, this descends. This descends. I would say, I don't know. What I'm not seeing is like, I don't know. I kind of want more payoffs for descending. I feel like this deck looks really good at descending, like getting things, permanents into the graveyard. Like it's got a lot of ways to do that. What I'm curious about though is what's our payoff for doing all this work? Like if we're putting all this effort into filling our graveyard, I'm not really sure what the. Oh yeah, we have to sideboard too. I'm not really sure there's enough of a payoff for all the effort that we're putting into it. So that would be my question. Is there another descend payoff? Can we have more descend payoffs? Because I feel like we're doing all this graveyard shenanigans, and then it's like I get a counter on my Satellite Stalker or something, or I hit you for 3 with my Zeoya Lavaton. Like I feel like maybe we need more reward for descending. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know what the answer. I guess Kiora is kind of a payoff for descending to some extent. Interesting. Consuming Aberration. Yeah, I'm going to have to. I know there's some like mass token producers. There's some mass token producers that work. I think that's one of the challenges of Descend. Like, there's lots of ways to descend, but the rewards for descending did not end up being very high. I'll have to think about it. Like, I like the idea. I'm just not sure what the best payoff is. Ooh, Avatar The Last Airbender. That would actually be a good UV. Oh, boom it. Consuming Aberration could be a fun against the. Ooh. Up the beanstalk, eh? Go up the beanstalk. Well, let's play the land. Get down the cliff top lookout. Do a little ramping. I mean, we're going to be able to use this to get a Genesis Wave once we get our mana set up. We just need one Genesis Wave for our whole deck. We need one of. Hey, what's up, Lava Spike? Have you recovered? From Vegas? Are you doing Chicago, Lava Spike? Out of curiosity, or anyone? Actually, is anyone from the chat doing Magic Con Chicago? I'm trying to figure out if I'm doing Magic Con Chicago. I haven't figured it out completely yet. Hey Seth, my son Hunter would like to know if you think Wizards would ever do Power Rangers Secret Lair drop. I think and tell Hunter I said hello. I think there's a very good chance that there's a Power Rangers Secret Lair. I think it seems like a pretty easy one. And even better, I believe it's already owned by Hasbro, right? So that makes, I think if it's owned by Hasbro, that already increases the odds. I don't know if there's enough to do a full set, but for a Secret Lair drop, I think Power Rangers would be a very easy one. we're going to go play the standard tournament in Chicago. MagicCon Chicago's in February, I believe, middle of February. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, because we've seen, like, Transformers, My Little Pony. It seems like a D&D. Other things Hasbro owns is, like, the lowest hanging fruit, I think, for them to do secret layers of. So, if anything, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen it yet. But yes, I would be surprised if we didn't see that eventually, especially with just, we're getting so many secret layers. Well, let's do a little splunking and do a little clifftop lookouting. And get in with Overlord of the Hauntwoods-ing. We're getting close. We're getting close to where we want to be. We're not all the way there yet, but we're getting close. Down at Fanatical Offering, gonna sack it to draw some cards. Zelda seems like a good one. Would like to go to Chicago, but the Atlanta one may be more feasible for me. Yeah, I've never been to Atlanta. I think the farthest south I've gone is like Richmond for a Magic event. I don't think I've ever been to Atlanta for anything, honestly. A reminder, by the way, that our sponsor today, Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing Atlanta or not. I'm from upstate New York, so northeast United States. People hear New York and they think of New York City. Upstate New York is very much not New York City. It is very, very different. Do you think the Bills win the Super Bowl? As a Bills fan, no. I've learned over the years to not expect the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Honestly, like, the Bills have done better than I thought this year. They've definitely done better. Oh, man. Oh, tear asunder. Oh. Okay. So we can Virtue. Let's Yarnbrig Growth. Get back a Solemn Simulacrum. Play Solemn. Get a land. Oh, we're going to set up for a good one eventually. We're working towards it. Grab a Forest. Play a Solemn. Get another land. Grab a, I guess, Mountain. I think the Bills are good, but they are just really good at breaking Bills fans' hearts. So, how would you feel about a Magic Secret Lair, Magic Mages, with creatures based on the designers of Magic, like Richard Garfield, Bill Rose, Gavin Verhey? That'd be cool. I don't think the Jets are gonna do it. I don't think the Jets are gonna. I'm more confident in the Bills than the Jets. The Jets are. I love the Jets. So one of my favorite things is on Sundays, and if you're a Jets fan, well, I don't even really apologize, but one of my favorite things to do on Sunday nights is, I don't know if there's this group of websites called like SB Nation. It's like this sports blogging site, and they have them for all the different teams. And on Sunday nights, I love to go over to the Jets SB Nation site, and you can just read all their fans reacting to the game of the day, and it is just the best meltdown every single week. Oh, it's so precious. I love it. It makes my I don't even care about the Jets. I don't do good. I don't care. It's so fun to watch. To watch the meltdown. Well, that's a Genesis wave. Oh god, we might be doing it. Okay, opponent draws a bunch of cards. Sure, that's fine. How'd they get an insect? What makes an insect? Greedy freebooter. Oh, this Infestation Sage. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can Genesis wave for 8. Elvis Yoga, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big subscription for you. Thank you. I think that's why the Jets exist. They just make other fans feel better about themselves. 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I mean, we have the invasion in hand. We're gonna do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're at 20. Actually, oh, wait, let's think about this. Can we go even more if we Virtue? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. So we actually can. So let's play the Virtue. Genesis wave for 10. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that was a good one. So before these triggers resolve, let's crack this. Oh, we're doing it. The dream is being lived with the battle, the invasion of Arcavios. Grab a forest. Okay, invasion of Arcavios. Search our graveyard, I say, for a card named Genesis Wave. Back in the hand, Clifftop Lookout. Rambo's a land. Sure, we'll leave it on top so we don't mill out. 24. So how much mana do we have now? 6, 11, 12, 13. Genesis Wave for 10. Do it again. Run it back. Instant replay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the haste. 7. Trigger. Yes. Haste up the team. Get another land. Get a Fabled Passage. Crack the Fabled Passage. Do we have lands left? No. Oops. Okay, that's fine. We didn't want that land anyway. So go to combat. Attack with the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Opponent blocks. And blocks. Sure. Why did they double block an Overlord? Did they think it had trample? They might have thought it had trample. So opponent gets a bunch of triggers. Wait, are we going to do all this and still lose? I hope we don't do all this and still lose. Is there a way to shuffle our graveyard back in our library? I think that's what we're missing. Maybe we need a one-of sideboard card that'll shuffle our graveyard back in our library at the end of this.
No way.
All right, invasion of Arcavios. Sideboard. For River's Rebuke. All right, opponent. Kill us if you can. Hey, Seth. Have you seen the latest questionnaire on Arena? Has a lot of good choices and has a lot of too expensive choices. Wait, I haven't. Do you have a link? You should. If you have a link, I haven't seen it yet. If you have a link, you should send it to me and I'll pull it up because I'm actually curious. I might be able to find it on the Reddit. All right, opponent. Lilian. Oh, are we going to get milled out? We might get milled out by the Scavenger's Talent. That's kind of an issue. What a weird game. I mean, this was some good Genesis waving. I don't know if this leads to us winning or not. Now that Wizards controls... Oh, it's in my Arena. Okay, I'll pull it up after this game. Now that Wizards controls Commander. Oh, wait, they're gonna mill us out, aren't they? 10 cards? Oh yeah, I think they have it. Are these treasures? Food, treasure. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is level. Oh, we're dead. Man, we did all the cool things and still lost. Oh, that's not fun. All right. You know, Scavenger's Talent didn't kill it. Sure. Do you have a cough drop? Yes, I do. Currently have a cough drop. Let's bring in a paw badge. I think that counts as a win in our hearts. What a janky way to lose. You could add Finale of Revelation to shuffle purposes or step between worlds. Yeah, those are a little expensive. They do get the job done. They're a little expensive. I really want like Elixir of Immortality. Something more along those lines. I think we need something cheap that we can spin into. There might have been a world where you go terror first and smaller. Yeah, that might have been a better way to doing it. We could have also like tried to Genesis wave in a way to hit the invasion of Arcavios to get a paw patch formation. There's a few things we could have done differently, but we just slammed the biggest Genesis wave possible. But I think there was a way that if we had not done that, we probably could have got there. Saying I watch too much of your videos. I think it's got it over the internet. Oh, I'm sorry, Tundra. You mean if you've I mean if you plan it, the bath song would be good. Plus 2 blue mana is good too. Yeah. Fountain's Cane, yeah, Fountain's Cane could work. Ooh, Darksteel. We could ramp into Darksteel Glot. I forgot Darksteel. This set's so big. I keep remembering new nostalgic cards, or you keep reminding me of sweet nostalgic reprints. Yeah, let's leave it uncracked for now. Well, now we're going to crack it. Crack the Fabled Passage. Grab a mountain. Hedge Maze. Also, we got to see the power of triple mana there. Well, keep the Forest Bastard. Yeah, Progenesis, we're going to have a fun winter. Like, it's only been like a week of Foundations, and there's so much more to get into. That's why I wish we got sets like this more often. Like, I kind of wish they would just keep making more of them. Crawling Barrens. Well, that's Splunking. Ooh, there's our invasion. Play a Yavimaya Bastard. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Progenitus. Bone up the beanstalk. Gonna draw a card. Well, play the land. Crack the land. The deck seems pretty good at ramping. We've been pretty successful with our ramp-a-lot plan. Grab a mountain. Overlord of the Hauntwoods. I pulled a Doubling Season at pre-release. That's like the biggest win in the set financially. Is it the kitten one? I'm pretty sure the kitten one's worth like hundreds of dollars. Domain, yeah, Progenitus is just so expensive. Actually, the real problem with Progenitus, we could play Progenitus. We might need to change the mana slightly or just really lean on Overlord, but we could play Progenitus. We'd also just Genesis wave into it. The thing is, it still gets got by sweepers. But it is funny. Protection of everything except for Sunfall. Ooh, opponent, also Overlord of the Haunt. Was going to draw a card. Sure. Infestation Sage, sir. Well, I guess we go to combat, get him with the Overlord, hit ya. Make a land. Opponent's gonna block. Yeah, let's Ill-Timed Explosion, draw a couple cards. All right, there's lands, that's good. And then play the land, Enduring Courage. Pretty nice buffer for Edict effects. If our opponent makes a sack, at least it's coming back. Has Shieldred been power crept out of the format? Shieldred, its power level has normalized. It hasn't power crept out of the format. If you just look at the data on Standard, Shieldred's technically still the most played creature. And you can argue it's only 1.9 copies. Some of these other cards are 4 copies. Or some of the times it's going to be in the sideboard rather than the main deck. But still, just like, if you just look at tournament deck lists, it is still the creature that people write in their tournament deck list more than any other creature in Standard. The good news is that went from being like a 3 or 4 of in like 60% of decks a year and a half ago to being a 1.9 of in 30% of decks. So I think Shieldred's fine now. I think the rest of the format has caught up with it enough that it's just another decent card rather than a card that I still think should have been banned back at its peak. I just believe that any card that's like 60% of decks, I guess discounting like some weird like utility, like if Duress is in 60% of decks in sideboard, that's not good, but it's a little different than Shieldred or the One Ring. But I think when you get to that point, I'm generally just in favor of banning those cards. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, all right. Genesis wave for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's fine. Get some triggers. Haste up the crew. I mean, even a Genesis wave for 6 is pretty decent. I guess we graveyard that. Combat and attack. Here comes the Overlords. Hit ya. I actually have a Heir Apparent deck that's coming up in the future. Heir Apparent, I think, is Heir Apparent. Is Heir Apparent the best at what it is? Like, as far as creatures that you can play any number of in your deck, is Heir Apparent the best of them? And I think the answer is yes. I think it actually is the best. Get down the invasion, get another Genesis Wave for next turn. Don't Thoughtseize us opponent, or we're going to just have to make you die. We would rather do the fun thing and Genesis Wave a bit. But if you insist on okay, sure, tear us under, yeah. Felidary Retreat, fine. Get in there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can Genesis Wave for 12? Actually, can we also... Okay. Oh, so it's even better. Okay, go to combat. Attack the invasion of Arcavios. Yes. You know what's better than a Genesis Wave for 12? How about 2 Genesis Waves for 12? Found it. Let's it go. Well, yes, we would like this. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell from your hand, copy it. You can choose new copies. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to play Terror of the Peaks. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Genesis Wave for 10 twice. Should be decent. Yes, we would like to do that twice. 1, 2, oh, that's game. That is game. That is game. Yes, double Terror of the Peaks. I think we will get a few triggers here. Snipe ya. Want them to encouraged to resolve first, so we get the buffs. Everything going face. Buff them Enduring Courage. And, yeah, sure, we'll put the land into play. Yes! Genesis Wave! I turned 34 today. So I'm trying to burn 34 games of Magic this week. Ooh, well, happy birthday, 0-1 by. Hopefully you're having a wonderful birthday so far. That was by far our best Genesis Wave. This deck is sweet. I don't know if the deck's... I don't know where this ranks in terms of, like, how competitive it is. Probably in the middle somewhere. But boy, does it do things when it actually goes off. Genesis Wave, oh, whoever suggested Invasion of Arcavios, very, very well done. Very well done. Good call on that. When will we play Arcanis? We'll try the Arcanis deck. First, we're going to look at the survey, and then we'll try the Arcanis deck. Help make Arena better. Yes. Let's make Arena better. Let's make Arena better. Thanks for taking the survey. Your feedback will upgrade the best gameplay experience possible. Sure, we agree. Is this gonna like throw up my address or anything wild? Let me click this first. Okay, hopefully this is fine. Is this a ton of questions? It's long. Oh, all right. Is it too long? Maybe this isn't worth it for the stream. Oh my god. Do you follow MTG Arena on Twitter? I follow you on Twitter. How were you introduced to Arena? I saw it on a Magic website. Actually, I don't even remember how I first heard about Arena. What platforms do you play games on? PC. I guess technically sort of mobile-ish. Console, sure. How about all of those? Where do you get your PC games? Steam mostly. I guess Battle.net. Maybe Epic Games Store. What does Epic Games Store have? Which of the following tabletop games have you ever played? Strategy games, yes. Never played Lorcana. Never played Warhammer. Never played One Piece. Played D&D before. Pokemon, no. Yu-Gi-Oh, no. Other trading cards not listed. Not really. What about video games? Roguelike games. What are roguelike games? Hades, Dead Cell. Other digital... Okay, so I've played Hearthstone and stuff. I should play... I kind of want to try League of Legends, but I never have. Horror games. I guess I played some of those. Kerbal Space Program, Animal Crossing, Simulation, Card Shop Sim. Where's Card Shop Sim? I can't believe they don't have Card Shop Sim in there. WotC. You gotta catch up. Smash Bros, sure. Shooters, yes. Strategy, my favorite. Survival, not really, I guess, if it's Minecraft and Rust. Wait, would this be like Fortnite and stuff? I played. Oh, that's Battle Royale. Okay, so I played those before. Massive multiplayer online, no. Role playing, not really. Action adventure, I mean, I've played some in the past randomly. No. Puzzle games, sure. Sure. Maybe. Oh, this is so. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Well, I'll finish it. I will finish it, but it looks like it's a little bit too much to go through. I feel like team fight tactics. I would really enjoy because I like auto battlers. I like almost every auto battler I've made. I heard isn't there a new auto battler that was made by, I want to say Renard or something, like an old Heart School pro. I feel like there's a new one that I just heard about. I haven't played it yet though, but I do like my auto battlers. I still think it is. How is Bazaar? Is Bazaar good? Is it worth playing? Wait, it was Rarin that made the game? Really? Interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I mean, I can deal with beta when it comes to that style of games because I played the beta of like Storybook Brawl. I played the new Storybook Brawl. Oh, Rained. Yeah, I thought it was Rained that made it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think there was a video where Rained did a video with Rarin talking about it or something, or going over the game. So that might be what they were thinking of. What's the lowest full deck there, and can we see it? The lowest full deck on my list, I went through and deleted a bunch of them before the new set, I think. Lowest full deck is Nico Blink. I don't think we've ever actually played it. I built this right after Dusmord, and I don't think we ever ended up playing it, and I never got back to it. Oh, also, if you haven't done this, and I'm sure you have, definitely go to your inbox and get your free decks. Shout out to Wizards for doing that. Wizards is usually... Oh, is my S stuck? Wizards is usually so stingy when it comes to giving things away in Arena. But this time they actually gave away like 50 rares or something. They actually did a pretty good job. Therigus, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. 11 months. Big scoop cheer for you. Thank you. All right, so this deck I'm excited about. So there's two reasons we're playing this deck. So this is a Dimir deck. I know, boring Dimir, but this is not boring Dimir. Why are we playing a Dimir deck? So first, we're playing it because it has Abyssal Harvester, which is one of my favorite cards from the set. The new demon that just tap stacks on the thing that went to the graveyard this turn, and you get a token copy of it. We can only ever have one of them. So essentially, we can loot with Arona, tap this, reanimate something that we looted. We can loot with a Likeness Looter, do the same thing. We can cut down something, tap our Abyssal Harvester, get a copy of it. I think Abyssal Harvester is like a ridiculous card. So that's reason number one. But the real reason is we're an Arcanis deck. And we're not only an Arcanis deck, we're trying to make everything into Arcanis with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So what we really want to do is loot away an Arcanis, exile it to Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and then every one of our creatures has a counter on it, which we can put on with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, has tap to draw 3 cards, which is absurd. It's so much card advantage. Arcanis has an incredibly strong ability. The only problem with Arcanis is it's 6 mana, and you gotta play it, and it's gotta lose Summoning Sickness. It's just too hard to really get rolling. But if you can turn your other creatures into Arcanis, it should be really, really strong. So the rest of the deck's mostly like Kior to fill the graveyard, Overlord of the Flood Pits, and Balmerk to fill the graveyard. Basically graveyard filling stuff. You're not going to see the typical bats and the typical stuff that you see in most Dimir decks. So let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can turn everything into an Arcanis. Yeah, it seems wild. Like, tap to draw 3 is a very, very strong ability. Hey Seth, if you consider joining the Rarin cinematic universe of X-player rates game-wise cards, I think you could add a fun jank factor to it. That could be super fun. I think the only problem is, I think the problem would be, I might know Hearthstone too much. Like, I'm not a Hearthstone pro or anything, but I go on kicks where I draft a lot of arena. So if the goal is to have someone that knows never seen a Hearthstone card before, never played with a Hearthstone card before, that might be a little bit tricky. Actually, we can probably put one Rona at the bottom, but that would be fun. I've seen there's been like a big trend of videos like that, and they seem super fun. What's the worst commander you've seen played? Oh God. Maybe like Chandler or something. There's some, every once in a while, someone breaks out like some old legends commander that's actually just like some sort of 7-mana vanilla creature, just for the memes. Caleb was playing a blue-red version with FOMO. Looks super fun. Oh, a version of this? Interesting. I'll play the land, get down our Rona Herald of Invasion. What is the worst commander you've ever seen played? What's the worst commander you've ever built a deck around? Do people build around bad commanders? I feel like I live in a weird unrealistic world because of content where like we build around J King commanders a lot, but that's kind of like part of building a new deck every week for Commander Clash or whatever. So that's just kind of normal. But do normal people who aren't making content do that? I'm not exactly sure, right? Because it's kind of expensive. It seems kind of expensive. All right, that is Agatha Soul Cauldron. A little disappointed we're missing so many land drops. Oh my, can you imagine Agatha Soul Cauldron exiling Arcanis to put a counter on the Rona and then untapping it as we cast Legends? Oh, so many cards. So many opponent getting and hitting us. Sure. We finally find a land. While we play the land, we will play Agatha's, I mean, we got to do it. Agatha Soul Cauldron. That's what we came here to do. Loot in response. Pitch another Arcanis. Untap it. Agatha Soul Cauldron. Oh, it doesn't turn into a... Huh. Wait, are we dying? I totally missed there was a Velgavoth in the graveyard. Oh, are we about to get got? Hey Seth, do you think the One Ring gets banned? It'll drop in price only to be stanked up by commander players, thus raising the price again. That would be my prediction. All right. Yeah, I think it's too risky. We'll play the Likeness Looter past the turn. Because they have that Velgavoth in the graveyard, just activating Agatha Soul Cauldron potentially lets our opponent just zombify this or something, and then we get kind of wrecked. We can still do it end step. Plus, worst case, if we have to exile the Velgavoth, opponent gets in with both. Block with Rona, I guess? Down to 14. Exiling the Velgavoth still puts a counter on things, which is nice. All right, opponent going for the... I'm glad we passed. Exile the Velgavoth. Counter on the Rona. Oh, here comes the fun. Oh, no. We don't have the fun yet. We gotta wait one more turn. Untap. We're gonna do it. We gotta do it. We came here to Arcanis. You can have your right of the month. That's fine. Exile it. Oh, this is going to be so good. So here's, how do we do this? So we tap this to draw 3. And then we play a Sheoldred, untap it. Yeah, play a Swamp. And then we'll tap you to draw 3. Trigger Sheoldred a bit. And then I guess we'll cut down this FOMO real quick. And yeah, we'll just pass. We'll just pass the turn. Oh, it's so good. Oh, this is all I want. Out of standard. I just want everything to be in Arcanis. Opponent going to reanimate their FOMO. Sure. Get it back. That's fine. Opponent draws a card, gets drained. Well, you know what? I think we'd like to draw 3. The other thing is we can now, once we do this, we can pick up our creatures. We can pick up our creatures with Arcanis' other ability to prevent removal too. And let's play this Overlord. Do a little milling. Get some things in the graveyard, perhaps. Oh, wait. Oh, and we can turn them all into Abyssal Harvester? Oh, this is insane. This is insane. This is insane. Oh my god. Okay, so Rona's now an Abyssal Harvester? Wait. Didn't we put a creature in the graveyard? Didn't we? Oh, we didn't mill anything. We will on our end step. Okay. So what we do is draw 3 cards. Are we just going to mill out? Oh, this is too much power. I can't handle it. We're doing too well. Gain some life. 28 cards in the deck. Let's play this Kiora. Let's play this Kiora real quick. Untap that Rona. Draw some cards. Abyssal Harvester and Overlord of the Flood Pits. Yeah, drain you a bit. And then I think what we do here is we're going to tap this as an Abyssal Harvester to get back in Overlord of the Flood Pits. We're going to mill out, and it's going to be the best. Discard a Undercity Sewers. And opponent. This needs to be a Yarion deck. It needs to be a Yarion deck. Wow. Wow. Wait, is this just busted? That was insane. That was so good. Wow. I didn't think Arcanis would do anything in Standard, but then I didn't think about Agatha's Soul Cauldron when I saw Arcanis. Do we have a win con? I mean, our Overlords can attack, right? They can get in there. That was not even especially close. That was not even a little close. Do we even change? I guess we can bring in maybe a negate. We do want to stop the reanimation, although we do have the Soul Cauldron. This might also just be a bad matchup for our opponent, just because we have 4 Soul Cauldrons that can exile the reanimation stuff. What do you think of Abyssal Harvester? All you need is a Soul Cauldron, Danig, and then you can also be in Arcanis. Is this card just busted? I feel like Abyssal Harvester, I feel like it might just be busted. Or at least like very strong. I feel like this is like a sleeper. We already have Demon Synergies. We already have Unholy Annex in Standard. I feel like Abyssal Harvester, give it time, but I think it's going to be good. Actually, maybe we just get rid of a cut down. Let's try it like that. I mean, in theory, if we draw enough cards, we win somehow. We should win somehow. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool commander card, but you're right. I think once you get back to Pioneer or Modern, it's going to be too slow. Do we have any Strained Nightmares that get got by Harvester? Thankfully, no. Ghost Vacuum. Opponent. It's not fair. We want to turn all of our stuff into Arcanis, and you're not allowed to play Graveyard Hate. Bitter Reunion. I mean, we have 1 Unholy Annex in the sideboard, but we didn't bring it in. Well, let's play a land, get down the Rhoda. But I think it'd be fine. Like, Unholy Annex is just, it's really good. I guess maybe it's worse against super aggro, but Tundra's Place, welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup for you. Thank ya. Well, let's play the Underground River. Spyglass Siren, I guess. Might as well. And yeah, let's just pass the turn. Pass the turn, leave up the removal. Trick of the game is to get the Soul Cauldron out before getting Arcanis in the grave, so you can respond to him exiling the Ghost Vacuum. That would be the best. That would be ideal. Opponent gonna get in there. Sure. Well, he might as well loot. So we need to find Arcanis and Soul Cauldron. Well, there's Soul Cauldron. Yeah, I guess we discard the Bitter Triumph. Soul Cauldron is a good draw. Play the Soul Cauldron. Loot with Rona. Well, now we get the Soul Cauldron versus Ghost. Oh, we can't discard it. We can't discard it now. We can't discard it now. We need to bait our opponent. How do we bait our opponent? How do we bait him? Let's discard this Kiora. I think on our end step, our opponent's going to be like, I better Ghost Vacuum. You know, I got to get value out of this. They're going to Ghost Vacuum. Oh, they didn't do it. Opponent, well played, opponent. Well played. I thought they were going to tap the Ghost Vacuum. They exiled the Kiora for no reason, and then we could do the Soul Cauldron thing, but they played around it. Requisition Raid. All right, well, I guess we need another Soul Cauldron. Sure. If Wizards put your likeness on the card, which card would you want it to be on? They already did with Hans. Hans Eriksson from Commander Legends. Actually, though, see, you can't really say Blood Moon or Panharmonicon, right? That doesn't really work. Oh God. Okay, this is awkward. It's a lot of Ghost Vacuums. We might be actually just hard casting. We might be hard casting Arcanis this game. This might be we're gonna cast Arcanis. Well, let's kill this FOMO. Yeah, we're gonna have to go aggro here, but they're both having all these Ghost Vacuums. I guess that's the only option. Opponent passes. Harvester. Well, play the land. Play Sheoldred. Loot with Rona. Discard a Harvester. Go to combat, get in with the Spyglass Iron, hit ya. Blood Moon gets a rent and it says stomach on the sky. Garrick? Okay, I could get behind that. There is a Sethron too, you're right. The best Minotaur commander. If there's a 1 black mana creature that made a trinket on ETB, like Novice Inspector, what kind of trinket would it make? We already have clues, maps, and blood. So you're thinking invent a new type of trinket token? So we have looting. We have clues that's, I guess, draw a card. Food, gains life. What's another easy, simple, cheap ability that we could put on an artifact token? I guess technically we had junks, power, thing. Yeah, they made a lot. It's funny because those were like not really a thing for most of Magic, but then in just the last couple of years they went hardcore on those. Ew. All right. Now let's discard this Overlord. I'm a little worried about these Ghost Vacuums popping off. The negate does stop reanimation, which is good. I'll drain ya. Go to combat. Hit ya. Opponent's at 11. See, people are saying Sheoldred's not good anymore, but Sheoldred is kind of still winning this game on its own, more or less. Like, this is just Sheoldred sits on the battlefield, and you can't stop it, and that's what happens. Overlord of the Floodbits. In pen mode. Well, discard a land. Trigger. Up to 28. Snowflake. Tap a permanent. I don't know if they do permanent. Non-land permanent, maybe. I can see I'm getting behind that. It was 4 mana second proliferate. That's so much mana, though. That is cool. Pay 1, make 1 of any color. I don't know if that's useful enough, but that could work. Scry 2. I mean, I guess that's like a clue, right? 2 scries is a draw, apparently. Tap to deal a damage. Or maybe like, what about sack to deal damage? We haven't really had that. What if it's like sack to deal A damage to any target, 2 damage to any target? Would that be too good? Ooh, Drain. Drain would be cool. Scry 2, yeah, Scry 2, that might be too good. Too strong, we broke it. Opponent. Gonna do some ghost vacuuming. Overlord of the Baelmerk to mill a few cards, including a Velgavoth. Can we close out this game in time? I'm not sure that we can. Now, draw and discard. A Swamp. Dark Slick Shores. Drain ya. Well, go to combat. Oh, neither one of these have Death Touch. All right, get it with the Shieldred. Get it with the Spyglass. Hit ya. Maybe we're still good. We might. Opponent's down to 8. Opponent blocks and blocks. Sure. I want to play Arcanis, but I don't think we can. I think we need to leave up the negate. So let's just map on Shieldred, I guess. Likeness Looter. Sure, whatever. Pass the turn. Token Boom Pile. Oh, Scry 2 is almost tutor. Sack to Populate. So the only thing about, like, Sack to Populate is it's so narrow that it would be really good in a token deck. It'd be really good in a token deck, and I think that's the game. Well, game 1 was very, very, very explosive. Game 2, our opponent had the hate cards, but we still got there. We still got there. I feel like I would want the trinkets to be a little broader. Like, Populate, I think, is too narrow, even though it's a cool ability. But if you look at them so far, like, Blood, you can use it in any deck. Food, I know life gain's not always good, but you can use it in any deck. Clues, you can use it in any deck. Like, most of them are something that they're going to add value pretty much no matter what. Ooh, a discard one. A discard one could be interesting. I have to figure out how to price it. I don't know what would the right mana value be. Maybe it is 3. I think 1 would be too cheap. It might be unfun. Would it be unfun if you could just, like... I think the fear would be if it was too cheap, you could just wipe out your opponent's entire hand. Maybe 2 would be the right number. It would probably be 2, and it would be sorcery speed, I bet. That would be my guess. Pay 2, sack it. Target opponent discards a card. Activate this only as a sorcery. That I could see. Tap 2, sack, discarding non-land card. Magic's so funny. I don't think there's a way that you can say discard a non-land card. I don't think that works under the rules of the game, as weird as that is. I think we've seen workarounds with it being like, Bandit Talent's an example, right? Like, if you do discard a land, then you get punished by having to, like, have something else happen. But I think because you got to be able to verify everything, I'm actually not sure that you can actually put that text on a card. Ooh, Toski is welcome. Okay, sure. Under City Sewers. Can we find an Arcanis? How about an Arcanis? Abyssal Harvester. Well, we already got one, so let's mill it. Then we can loot with Rona. Discard a Shieldred. Play Kiora. Untap Rona. Do a little looting. Discard you, discard you and you. Actually, what are we at? 3? We'll keep the Surveil land. Discard. Loot with Rona. Discard. Abyssal Harvester. Get back. Abyssal Harvester. Pass the turn. 1 sack, look at target opponents, and... Ooh. What if it was look at the top... Look at opponent's hands good. Look at... the top of their deck? Would that even matter? Would anyone care? Oh, opponent kills our Shieldred. Alright, well, how about a Kiora then? Get rid of some of this removal. Well, discard, discard. Play the Likeness Looter past the... Can we get an attack with Kiora? We have not seen Kiora trigger. Screaming Nemesis. Draws a card. And Abona passes. Wait, do we get to make an 8/8? I think we get to make an 8/8. Well then. Alright, so let's... Okay, how do we do this? Let's go to combat attack. Go to combat attack with Kiora. Once we trigger it, pay 3 life, kill the Screaming Nemesis. They're probably just going to Sunfall us anyway. Yes, I think we would like an 8/8, please. Hit ya, and then Likeness Looter can become a Abyssal Harvester, which can Oh, we could have done this even better, couldn't we? Can make a Screaming Nemesis, pass the turn. All right, opponent. All right, opponent. No Sunfall. Okay, Archangel Elspeth, not a Sunfall. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Lifelinker draws a card. Opponent. Would you like to die? This deck seems so cool. Do you consider putting the Heartflame Challenger guy from Eldraine in the burn deck? Ooh. No, I didn't really think of it. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it could be a good sideboard card. I don't know. Main deck, it seems medium to me. A little slow. But I like the giving your burn spells lifelink. Seems like it could be very helpful in certain matchups. Now we're just going to get in with everything. Here we come. Wow, that was not the best timing. Yes. Our opponent should have let us make the octopus first, I think. Well, that was kind of a freebie. Opponent goes to 12. Well, I guess we turn into a Shieldred. Likeness Looter kind of popping off. Sure. And Undercity Sewers. Mill the Harvester. All right, opponent. Shows us Sunfall. Are there any viable Foundations only or mostly decks? I would love to play standard deck that's legal for 5+ years. That's not something I've worked on. I imagine the answer is semi-viable, yes. I think there's definitely some Foundations only decks that are good enough. Now let's just get in there, see what happens. Attack, decline. Opponent gonna block the Kiora and the Octopus and Screaming Nemesis and die. I mean, unless our opponent can kill the Shieldred, I think they just die, right? So now Screaming Nemesis hits ya. Oh, they go to 3? All right, Kiora's felt really good in this deck. Oh, there's Arcanis. There is Arcanis. Discard. Gain some life. No Sunfall. No Sunfall. No Sunfall. I'm gonna have to work on that because I think that would be a really beneficial thing to have around. Some sort of like, I used to do those articles that were like 30 decks under $20 or whatever, the 30 under 20 stuff with new set releases. Maybe something like that could be worth it for Foundations just because it lives for so long. The other ones I stopped doing because there were a lot of work to put together all the deck lists, and then they were done with in like a month or two because everyone's on to the next set and doing the next thing. But for Foundations, I'm gonna have to try to build some foundations only decks because I feel like I could be really, really helpful. Hello, hello. Do we want to change anything? Cats is probably the best foundations only deck. Yeah, I'd have to look at it. I could see a lot of supports for cats exist. How would burn be? I feel like there's probably a pretty good burn deck. Like, I feel like if you have Boros Charm Bolt Wave, that's already a good foundation. Lightning Strike in there? There's probably Lightning Strike in there. Did I ever make a Grimoire deck? Hey, welcome to the chat, by the way. I have made Grimoire decks. None of them have made them to a video yet. Oh, really? Mr. Thal, I'm glad you were using them. I never really knew how much value people were getting out of them. I wasn't sure. It's very easy to see on YouTube, like how many people are taking advantage of you, watching or whatever. A little bit harder on the articles on the website. So I'm never really sure if people were actually like building them or they were helping anyone, or I was just kind of like shouting them out into the void. Huh. Well, now that makes me think, you know, okay, Mr. Thalet, since you were someone who actually used these decks, what if there were like 10 decks or something? Like, does it have to be 30? Like, do we have to have that many? Because I could see bringing it back, but doing it in just like maybe a smaller, maybe 10 decks a set or something, especially with us ending in a world where we're going to have sets every 2 months. So maybe I'll have to look into it. Maybe there's a way I can bring it back without it being something that takes like a couple days time to do, and takes into account just like how many sets that we're getting next year. So maybe there's a way I can do like a smaller run of it. But it makes me happy to know that someone was using them. Yeah, I built Grimoire decks. I just haven't actually made a video out of them. None of them have gotten to the point where they've actually felt all that good for videos. They've all been very janky. Wow, there's a soul. We missed all of our synergies last game and still won. This game, we got the Soul Cauldron. Yeah, budget. Oh, man. Ghost Vacuum. Opponent. Don't you want us to do the cool thing? Opponent hits us. Well, let's play the Verge. Play a Rona, Herald of Invasion. And let's just pass. So what does this Roadrunner do? Haste, protection from coyotes. Of course. 3 mana, can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. So, expensive evasion, but evasion nonetheless. Fear of being hunted. Chill, opponent, chill. Opponent goes to combat, opponent. Gets in. Just kidding, gets in with everything. Well, we're gonna block. Must be blocked if... Oh, wait. Could I have tapped this? Am I an idiot? I mean, I know I'm an idiot, but could I have tapped this? Let's kill the Roadrunner. Now it was summoning sick. But we can do this. Soul Cauldron. Haha. Fear of being hunted me, will you? Are we going to Ghost Vacuum it? I can't stop you from Ghost Vacuuming it. Alright. Fair enough. Fair enough, opponent. Well, Gloomlake Verge. Let's play Abyssal Harvester. We just have to have more ways to exile things from our graveyard than our opponent has ways to get things in the graveyard. I think that's the goal. Yeah, opponent is all about that haste. Seriously, all about that haste. Get her Beam Battalion. Opponent gonna go to combat. This might actually be a problem. Are we dying? Our opponents just curved out. Wow, did they go 2, 3, 4, 5 hasters? I think they did. Charming Scoundrel, Roadrunner, Fear Being Hunted, Skitter Being Battalion. They did curve out every turn with a haster. It is the ultimate graveyard hate battle. Let's see. You block here. You block here. Ah, this fear is an issue. So we dropped to 9. Untap. Arcanis. Well, let's play Kiora. Draw and discard. Discard Arcanis, discard Kaido. Play the land. All right. So Agatha Soul Cauldron, exile Arcanis. Opponent. Thinking of Ghost Vacuuming. Okay. In response, Abyssal Harvester. Arcanis. And pass the turn. Do we stay alive? Do we stay alive? Opponent land. What's this last card? Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, let's kill that. Take 3. And block and block. Drop to 4. Kiora down. But we have an Arcanis. Can Arcanis carry? We find another Abyssal Harvester. Well, Arcanis, draw us some cards. Not great. Not great cards. Well, let's play the Abyssal Harvester. Part 2. Verge. And, yeah, I mean, I guess we just... Actually, let's crack a map. Crack a map on the Harvester. Getting up to 3 toughness would actually matter. Well, okay. Not going to matter anyway. Yeah, pass turn. Hold. They just have so many hasters that I'm not feeling very safe. Even though we know our opponent's only got 1 card in hand, they're like a skitter beam away from making us very, very sad. Do you think a Maze's End brew will be good enough to make a video on? I will tell you, Nick Nasty. Maze's End coming next week. It is in process already. It is coming soon. So yes. Even if it's not good enough, I would still make Maze's End video because I love Maze's End. It's one of my favorites. Opponent. Combat attacks. Yeah, we can't go for the throat the skitter beam, but we can block it at least. And then maybe get a copy of it. Day of Judgment. Well, okay. So exile the skitter beam. Why is our opponent playing Day of Judgment in their deck? That I do not really understand. All right, get Wrath. I think we're going to lose to Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, Overlord of the Flood Pit's actually a pretty good draw. That is not bad. That gives us the flyer, too, which is huge. All right. And it gets rid of some of these. Wow, so many lands. My God. All right, we have many lands. We'll play the land past the turn. We can use our Soul Cauldron to keep the Ghost Vacuum in check. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know, it's just weird with the curve out aggro plan. I guess we're in game 2. It was probably a sideboard card. Hey, Seth. Hey, Daniel. How are you? I won a Pauper tournament with Persistent Petitioner. Wait, what is a Pauper Persistent Petitioner deck look like? I'm actually super curious. Yeah, that's gotta die. Fear of being hunted actually seems good. Just having to block it's very obnoxious. All right, Overlord. You know what would be very good as Shieldred would be super good. Rona. Well, go to combat. Get in with the Overlord. Draw some cards. Well, there's the Shieldred. It's a dirty way to win a game of Magic, but we are not above it. We are not above it with this deck. It works really well with Arcanis. That's why it's in there. It works with Arcanis. All right, pass the turn. Hey, Seth, hope you're doing well. I was wondering if the new Tiny Bones could make the cut in Hollow One in Modern. Huh. Actually, now that you mention that, I think the answer is actually maybe. Maybe. I think it's worth testing. It's worth trying at least. it might just end up being a little bit unnecessary. Let me look up new Tiny Bones. Let's read this card again and think about Hollow One. So it's 2 mana. It's a 1/3. And it says, whenever your opponent discards a card, exile it from their graveyard with a stash counter during your turn. You can play cards that you don't own with stash counters on them. So essentially, in Hollow One, you play this the next turn. You can Burning Inquiry, make your opponent randomly discard 3 cards, and then you steal them. So I think the more I think about it, I don't know if I would play Tiny Bones in just straight up Hollow One. But I do think that you could build a deck around it with similar cards that might actually be pretty sweet. I think there's a Tiny Bones has impressed me. I haven't seen it in Modern yet, but it has impressed me. I guess Kaido's got to go. It has impressed me every time I've seen it in play. It seems very strong. Oh, let me see, Daniel. I didn't know there was a persistent petitioner pauper deck. So petitioners, pawn profits. So what's this? Is there like a combo? Is there like a combo, or are we actually just like, so a bunch of petitioners. Nass Vandal also counts as an advisor. Pawn profit draws. So it's like it's an advisor deck. Man, this actually makes me want to play Pauper. This makes me want to play Pauper now. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I actually kind of want to play Pauper now. That looks just so janky and funny. Yeah, I was surprised by Coma showing up in Modern. That one really surprised me. Found it with can we draw black mana? Black mana to kill the land of war. Got about the bird. No. Well, Rona. All right. Better than literally nothing, but yeah. I mean, I've played Pauper at various points in the past. But I might have to get back into it. Watch this EO video today. It had me thinking, what do you think of pure Modern format? No UB, no Direct to Modern. It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool idea, and I would like for it to take off. I guess I would say it would be interesting to see what a format without any real design input from Wizards look like. Because Wizards wouldn't be designing for that format, right? They'd be designing for standard and cards filtering down into other formats. It would be pretty interesting to see just how it turned out. It seems like it could be fun, or maybe it's going to be a disaster. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the idea of it. The only thing I'll say is I've seen a lot of people make formats that to me just seem like they never change. Those formats don't appeal to me. Like the like 2015 only Modern, even though that's my favorite era of Modern, just being stuck in the past doesn't really appeal. Same with some of the like pre-modern or old school. Like I know people really enjoy those formats, and that's awesome. Man, this is not very good running. Yeah. Well, sometimes you get stuck on 2 lands and don't play anything. Tiny leaders at least would still involve. But yeah, I like that the Modern Pure, or whatever they want to call it, like pure Modern. I like that it still is a format that will grow over time. Because I think there's a misconception maybe that people don't want Magic to change. I think people do want Magic to change. They do want Modern to change. Just the level of change that we've went through recently with Modern Horizons has just been too much change for a lot of people. So I don't think, at least me personally, I don't want Modern to only be stuck at Siege Rhino time or whatever. Even though I love that time, I want there to be new cards. I even want there to be some power creep. I just don't want it to be full scale, like throw everything out and start over every 2 years. So yeah, the format's interesting to me. I don't have super high hopes that it's gonna like take off, because I've just seen so many of these formats in the times that I've been playing Magic. Like, they're good ideas, they seem really fun, maybe you play them for a little bit and then they kind of fade. Like, it's very, very hard to get a full group of the Magic community behind something and to stick behind something, doubly so when Wizards is not doing it. The theme for daily deals is shirtless guys. Huh. I haven't looked at the daily deals today. It's a good question. I don't know why Wizards like their shirtless guys so much. They've been all about the shirtless men the last few years. What else do we cut? So we can go to siren. Maybe we go down 2 sirens. Let's try like that. You don't really need all players to agree, but you need a decent chunk to agree. Catcan fan! Hey Seth and Cease, you had a mono blue budget. How I win if I counter your stuff deck that was fun to watch. What changes and additions and upgrades would you make if budgetness was not a concern? Let me see if I can pull up that deck. I think it was this one. Pretty sure this was the right deck list. So what changes would I make to this deck if budget was no concern? Honestly, it's one of those deck lists that I think is relatively optimal as it is, because you need the all island mana base for stuff like Flow of Knowledge. The creatures are already the best flash creatures. There wasn't anything I like really wanted to play that couldn't. One would be like more 3 steps ahead. 3 steps ahead, really good in the deck. I would play like the full 4 copies of 3 steps ahead. And then the other place you can get some upgrades is like Filter Out was really bad in the sideboard. The sideboard could definitely be upgraded with just like good sideboard stuff, like Ghost Vacuum for Graveyard. You still want the counters in there, but I think that would be the main thing. So no major upgrades. I don't think there's any like super expensive card the deck really wants, but the rest of the 3 steps ahead, and then so many lands. Rest of the 3 steps ahead, and then just general sideboard staples essentially. What do we got here? That sounds pretty good. Do we need to keep removal? Do we just keep the overlords? Yeah, let's just go all over. We can go removal into overlord and overlord. And I'll keep Abyssal Harvester. That's pretty good. Yeah, I feel like I would probably trim down. So let's say we cut the Flow of Knowledges, because Enduring Curiosity is enough card draw, which it might be. That's how it felt during the games that we played, although it was a relatively small sample size, so it might be something that's worth testing a little bit more. But that was my initial impression, is we don't really need that many Flow of Knowledges because Enduring Curiosity draws so many cards. So if we cut Flow of Knowledge, then we don't have the pressure to only have an island mana base. We're still mono blue. I guess in theory, you could be a 2-color deck then and splash into another color. I guess I would probably just stick mono blue, but if I didn't have to play all islands for Flow of Knowledge, I'd probably play like 3 Fountain Ports, maybe a Mirrex in there, possibly a Demolition Field or 2, but other than that, like, I think that would be the upgrade. I don't know if it's worth going in 2 colors. You could be a 2-color, similar 2-color deck. Another interesting possibility is being like a straight up flash Merfolk deck. If you look at our deck list, we already got Flood Pits Drowner. We didn't really embrace it in this deck list, but I think I don't think I've played it yet. But I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think there's like Brineborn Cutthroat's really good. Harbinger Tides is pretty good. You got Hexcatcher, you got Tidebinder. So I'm also intrigued by the possibility of trying to morph it into a Merfolk deck, although that doesn't really make it less budget friendly. It's still pretty cheap. Let's play the land, get down the Abyssal Harvester. Hey Seth, I was surprised to see on the Goldfish site that Shieldred was not in the top 50 creatures being played. I remember when it was called for banning Shieldred in Modern were very loud. Was there a time when people were calling for banning of it in Modern? I know. All right, actually, wait, so if we play this, we discard this to get back that. Okay, let's do that. Let's impend the Overlord of the Flood Pits. Ooh, So we will discard a Overlord of the Baelmerk. Abyssal Harvester gets back the Overlord of the Baelmerk, which will mill some cards to find us a Rona, I guess. Dark Slick Shores, go. So I don't... Was there a time when people wanted Shieldred banned in Modern? I know for sure Standard wanted it banned. Shieldred has been okay in Modern at various times. I don't know if Shieldred... I don't remember a time when it was problematic in Modern. But maybe I'm... If I'm misremembering something, definitely let me know. I know in Standard for sure, like a year and a half ago, it was in like 60% of decks. I'm still think it should have been banned in Standard back then. But yeah, Modern, it was good, but not as broken. Is he the Abzan? Yes, I haven't played it yet. But it was... That's a good first step. If you send me a deck list and it ends up that I actually save it in my account, that's usually the first step towards me eventually playing it. So that is the one, PTI Callan. It looked interesting. It was a cool idea that I hadn't really seen before, and I even copied down your combo plans just to make sure I knew what you were up to. So we might get to it. Yeah, there's just Foundations. The problem with Foundations is there's just so much cool stuff to try. This is actually a big Undercity Sewers that would actually... Okay, let's go to combat. Get him with the Baelmerk. Oh, these Ronas. These Ronas are the... Oh, we don't want only Ronas. We need removals, not Ronas. Well, get Rona number 3. Very good at drawing Ronas. We need this Undercity Sewers to, like, reveal a flyer or something, or we're just going to die to Archfiend of the Dross. I don't know. Is Rona a good problem to have? I wish we were flooded with something that could block a flyer. That would make me happy. Well, Undercity Sewer. All right. I mean, that doesn't block a flyer, but it is something. Let's snag this Kiora. Draw a couple cards. Get rid of some Kioras. Discard a Rona and also a Rona. And play a Rona. And unimpend. Oh, if we could somehow survive and make our opponent die to their own Archfiend, that would be so sweet. Ooh. See, I tried building mono green elves without Voja, and it was pretty meh. Voja, though, is busted. So I might have to try Voja elves with all the new upgrades. There's so many good upgrades to that deck. Shieldred is almost unplayable in Standard now. I mean, by the data, Shieldred is the most played creature in Standard. So that might be a little extreme. It's definitely not what it was when it was 60% of the meta, and I know there's definitely ways to quibble with this. Like Shieldred, if you just look at the percentage of decks a creature shows up in, Shieldred is number 1 in Standard. This does include sideboards, so some of these decks are probably playing Shieldred in the sideboard. So if you want to dock it for that, that's fair. And if you look at the other cards, like Swift Spear, 3.9 copies on average. Emberheart Challenger, always a 4 of. Heartfire Hero, always a 4 of. Shieldred's 1.9. So I guess it's in the highest number of decks of any creature of Standard when you include main and sideboard. But when you include for the number of copies played, I guess maybe it's technically a little bit lower in prevalence, but 6. Do we have to block? If we block, we take damage anyway. Yeah, we need a miracle. We need a miracle. Hey, Seth, do you think the new idea, Commander becoming a rotating format like Standard, but a card that comes in and out of Commander every 3 to 5 years, and we get a new cards with new Standard sets? Let me read that again. Hey, Seth, what do you think of the new idea, Commander being a rotating format like Standard, but a card that comes in and out of Commander every 3 to 5 years, we get new cards with the new Standard sets? I think that Commander with the rotation would be very unpopular. I think that one of the... if you thought there was a big uproar when they banned Jeweled Lotus, I imagine if you put out an announcement that was like, hey now, we're going to rotate Commander every so many years, I think people would absolutely lose it. I think people would just straight up reject it. I honestly think if Wizards announced that, people would just be like, we're not going to do it. Sorry, Wizards. Like, you do you, but we're going to do this on our own. I think that would be a thing that would actually be so far out there for people that they would just actually not do it. Just look how popular Brawl is. Yeah, I mean, Standard Brawl was not popular at all. Brawl has done, even look on Arena, where they started with Brawl focused on Standard, and it was not very popular. But then once they made Brawl, I guess technically historic, where it's non-rotating, Brawl has actually steadily increased. I think, as much as it pains me, because I'm a believer in faster rotation in Standard, like, that is my belief of what makes for a best Standard, is honestly the opposite of everything Wizards is doing. Although I've really enjoyed Standard lately, so maybe I'm the one that's wrong. That's very possible. But I feel like how do we get out? We need a removal spell, and we need it like off this draw. Or I guess a flyer. Our Overlord's not going to unimpend fast enough. Is there anything we can do here? Archfiend of the Dross is brutal. They broke Brawl with Alchemy. I kind of hope and think it's possible that the Alchemy ends up going away next year. I think it's possible. I think now that Wizards is, which it blows my mind that they didn't do this in the first place. Like, it's so funny to me that they did a whole video that they did a whole thing about wanting to push, get people to play Standard. What's going on with Paper Standard? Well, how can we revitalize Paper Standard? When at the same time they had created this digital-only format that they push new players on Arena into, which is exactly the opposite of what you would want to do to support Paper Standard. Like, you created this separate format for the new players on Arena, and you essentially told them, we don't want you to go play Standard, the format that you could also play in Paper or LGS. We would rather you play Alchemy with our digital-only cards because we want to sell more digital-only cards, I guess, is what the goal was. So it's so funny to me that they were actually, like, kind of working against themselves. But I think maybe, now that they're really pushing people to Standard again and really trying hard to support Paper Standard, I think that maybe that will... this isn't going to work, is it? Untap Rona. Agatha Soul Cauldron. Exile Arcanis. Put the counters on Rona. Tap Rona to draw 3. Okay. Go to combat. Get in with Kiora. Make an octopus. We still need a removal spell, though. We still need a removal spell. Yes, make an octopus. Or some way to not die to this Archfiend of the Dross. Pound it. Fires up the cottage. Sure. That's fine. Yeah. So Kiora down for now. We drop to 4. I'll play another Kiora. Oh, we can't even play a land? Oh, that doesn't even work. Huh. Yeah, we have no way of stopping this. Oh, that is so unfortunate. We were so close. I don't like Kiora. We got our synergy. We just got it a little too late. Discard a couple harvesters. Draw with Rhoda. Ugh, yep. Cannot beat the Archfiend. I mean, Archfiend of the Dross is legit a good card. It is legit a good card. If they take Alchemy off, I'll think about reinstalling Arena. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, we couldn't beat it. This deck is neat, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Just now they've... Like, here's the changes that they've made. Have you thought about making a Harmless Offering deck for a Standard? Yes, I've actually already made a couple of them. Crim did a video about Harmless Offering that just went up on the YouTube, so I'll probably wait a little bit, or maybe we'll play it on the stream. But yes, Harmless Offering, there's so many cards in this set that are awesome. There's so many cards in this set. I think that the change is, these new player decks, that Wizards handed out are like super cool. Like that's a pretty big deal that they're handing those out. And they're for standard, they're not for alchemy. And we've had Wizards say out of their own mouths, we're going to start pushing people into standard again. We're going to start pushing people into standard again. That is our goal, is to push people into standard. So I think that perhaps things are going to look a lot different a year from now. The daily deals. Let's see. Let's go to the store. Let's see our. Do we have some Okos? Hey, there we go. There's our buddy Oko. I don't know. I don't know if is it a day of some kind? Is it like Shirtless Men Day? It could be. There's a day for everything. I don't know if it's definitely a bunch of shirtless men. I don't know if there's a reason that it's Shirtless Men Day today, or if it just randomly they decided it was Shirtless Men Day. I love that Flipple and Thip counts. Look at that stud. Look at that stud. Oh, it's National Men's Day. I might actually have to buy this sleeve. I didn't even connect that this was shirtless Flipple Thip, but it is standing there by his cactus with a cowboy. This image just fully captures the last year of Magic for me. It's like a character that I like, but it's a meme character, and it's in a cowboy hat, and it's out in the desert in Outlaws of Thunder Junction with a controversial plate. That's it. That is 2024 Magic, just right there. That is peak, the peak physique. Flipple kind of got the dad bod a little bit. Honestly, he's got a little bit of the dad bod. I think that with excuse me. Oh boy. I think that with all these Universes Beyond sets coming out, they need to stop making gimmicky sets and focus more on making real awesome Magic sets like Lauren and Tarkir. I think Wizards has heard that. That message. They've mentioned like the complaints. I gotta get the flibs. They mentioned the complaints about things being too memey. You just gotta remember that it is a big slow ship to turn around. Like, because they work on sets 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead, apparently, in the case of Universes Beyond. If Wizards got the message after Outlaws of Thunder Junction this summer, the Magic players really aren't thrilled about every plane being like a bunch of memes with a new hat each set. Like, if Wizards got that message, that if they went a little too far that direction, even if they are like, okay, like, we've heard this feedback, we think they're right, we're going to chill a little bit with the meme stuff, we're probably not going to see that until at least the end of next year. And more realistically, probably like 2026. Like, even if they got the message, even if that's the message they took away from it. So keep that in mind. Like, I think Wizards, you just got to remember that it takes them so long because of how their process is to actually reverse course on things or change course on things. So I think that we're going to end up, I would be surprised if 2026, if the Magic sets, assuming there still are Magic sets, but assuming there still are Magic sets and not just all Universes Beyond, I would be surprised if they were iconic characters with detective cats and cowboy hats. Just the way Wizards has talked about things, I would expect the Magic sets to be a little bit more serious. Did you play Merfolk? How did it feel? Haven't gotten to play with it much yet. There's just so many. There's too many decks. Anyway, so what did we learn today? So Genesis Wave, I would say Genesis Wave is kind of medium in terms of how competitive it is, but it is pretty high in terms of how spectacular it can be. And we got to see some pretty big games. The invasion of Arcavios really changed the deck. That was a really good suggestion, and that kind of gave it that modern combo feel where we could Genesis Wave, hit Invasion of Arcavios to get back Genesis Wave, do it again. So I love this deck. I might keep working on it, especially now that we have the Invasion of Arcavios deck. So Genesis Wave, super sweet. Everything's Arcanas. It's a really synergistic, neat deck. This isn't one that I built, obviously. This is someone else's deck. But it's a really cool just idea that I didn't think of. I'm not sure how good it is. I imagine that when it's all said and done, People will probably stick with the tier Demir deck that we've seen over and over again. But I think if you have the Demir deck and you want something a little spicier, the deck's super cool. Arcanis under Arcanis Cauldron is actually really powerful. And the rest of the deck, like Abyssal Harvester, does something. So I really like that deck as well. But anyway, everyone, I believe that brings us to the end of our stream for today. So reminders on the way out the door. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice anyway. So 3 straight hours of talking, and my voice not quite up to it yet, but we're almost there. So anyway, reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube. That's where you can find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube. Tons of stuff coming out on there tomorrow. Don't miss the Against the Odds. It's the first Foundation Against the Odds, and I think it's got to be one of my favorite Against the Odds decks that we've done in a while. And one more shout out to our sponsor day, Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Most importantly, thank you to all of you. Y'all are amazing, and y'all are awesome, and I love you so very much. Thanks for hanging out this afternoon. Sorry for a little bit of coughing. I'm sure by next week I will be 100% good. So I hope you all have an amazing day. Thanks for hanging out. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon.